Hello and welcome to We Want Picks. Jakey and I are going to break down the entire... This is why they think you're autistic.
Just playing into it.
Jacob and I are going to break down the entire UFC 290 fight card, giving you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our DraftKings plays. But before I do, I want to give you $50. We got a holiday weekend. Everybody's spending money right now on burgers and dogs and drinks and everything else. So why not throw some back in your wallet? I will give you $50. The only thing you need to do is go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners using our link. Make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay us. I'm going to swap. Take some of that. Give it right back to you. I don't know why I did swap. And I'll give you $50.
Snip, snap, snip, snap. You know how much physical toll
reverse
3 vasectomies takes on a person?
Anyway, $50. wewantpicks.com/bets. Listen, Jacob and I didn't have the greatest weekend of all time, but
Speak for your fucking self.
Our premium members had a... Shut up.
Dominated, and my dog dominated that AI, just like I said.
Our premium members had a phenomenal weekend. These tickets were tweeted to us. They were sent to us every single... Hey, guys, just joined premium 2 weeks ago. Made $3,000. $14,000 and... $14,765 from premium members alone from this last weekend. This premium member community is absolutely killing it. $1,000 parlay, $4,700 in DraftKings, a $2,200 parlay. I mean, these people are absolutely killing it. These are premium members specifically that went out of their way to say, here's my ticket. Thank you guys so much. If you want to be a premium member, wewantpicks.com, click become a member. It's only freaking $10, and look what's going on with these people.
Obviously, come on, people.
Obviously, not every weekend everybody's going to crush, but the amount of tools, the information, everything else is helping people make some very real money. Here are
what the fuck is this picture?
Well, the left is our results from this weekend. You were shit. I were shit. The lock of the week was shit. Prize picks was shit. Fantasy was shit. The member parlay was shit.
The Chris Barnett picture. It's a great one.
But our premium members did incredibly well. Thank God for the tools. The Chris Barnett picture is me saying, I'll buy you a beer. I will be at UFC 290.
Wait, why is there a shit emoji next to lock of the week?
Did it win?
Ariane won. Ariane Lipsky, fucking she won.
Game. Anyway.
What?
If you're going to be at UFC 290, I will be at UFC 290.
What are you talking about?
Shut up and let me get through the intro.
If you're going to be at 290,
okay, I got to mute you. This is this early. If you're going to be at 290, I'm going to be at 290. Say hi. I'll buy you a beer. Only if you're a premium. If you're not a premium member, I mean, come on. A beer is more than premium.
You're going to make them pull out their phone and log in to the website. Log in right now. Let's see.
Let me see it. Let me see your yellow name.
Show me
Discord.
yours. No.
Premium members had some success this past week, and I imagine a lot of them use the tools. And even if we get a pick wrong, usually the insight is right there. They're going to get access to the line movement tracker. They're going to get access to 38 columns of detailed data, metrics. They could find their own spots, do their own research right on our website. They can use the courses. We rolled out a brand new Beginner's Guide to DraftKings course. The number one question we get on this video is, does Jacob do anything for his autism? And what are those big green numbers for DraftKings? And you're going to learn about most of that in the Beginner's Guide to DraftKings course. You ready to break down this card?
Not quite yet. I kind of want to dive a little bit more into what is available for premium members.
I can tell.
For $10 a month, because I'm really kind of, I'm on the fence right now.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that you might be able to tell me about premium membership? Because I'd like to hear more about it.
Yeah, no, first of all, you'll get a beer if you see me at
Nobody gives a fuck. Let's go break down the fucking fights.
$10 a month.
It doesn't matter.
$2 from Quint says, gonna bankrupt the books this weekend. Buy premium. Thank you, Quint.
Happy birthday, Quint.
Happy birthday for that. Stefan bought premium yesterday. Welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying it so far.
Whoa.
Oh, look at Artem. Artem played rugby internationally. He was pretty good. Do you know why Artem didn't make a PFL video this week, Jacob? He has the sniffles. But Mr. International Rugby Superstar has a slight cold. So no PFL video from Artem.
Rugby even a real sport, honestly? Don't you just kind of run around?
apparently everybody thinks they're so tough.
Around. I don't think there's no skill in rugby.
Kid sneezed 3 times and said, I don't have 20 minutes to do a video. It's an absolute joke. They're all a joke. Anyway, let's go ahead and, I genuinely am sick. You're not too sick to watch this and type, turd. Anyway, soft-ass Artem. I agree.
Not a great day you're having so far, huh?
Artem, I agree. He's sick. So sick.
Kind of talking about your attitude, your energy, your overall
the kids were home all day, and that's sort of just...
Okay, so I was right.
Yeah, no, it's not a great day.
Anytime Angel has to spend time with the family.
It's a toll. First up,
I wish I had a
UFC,
family.
Somebody's going to take that. There you go. There it is.
I wish I had that type of support.
Okay, shut up. Hey, here, you guys are going to learn a lot about Jacob right now. Jacob, tomorrow we're having a barbecue. Would you like to come over tomorrow afternoon, have some drinks, swim a little?
You're going to enjoy this answer because I actually have a big production plan for my Lock of the Week video, and it's going to probably take me all fucking day to do it. So I hope they enjoyed that Lock of the Week video because I literally, I would love to come. I would love to come. I bet you would. But really I got a lot of, we got the whole production team coming over, and we're only going to have about 6-7 hours of the daylight that we need.
Let's go.
But I would love to come.
Yeah, no, normally. You are an antisocial gimp, and it's okay. We love you for it. It is what it is.
I talk to people at the gym almost every other day.
Okay. Are you done with that?
No. No. It's like, hey.
Whoa, hey, I'm not asking if they're done with it. First up, at UFC 290, we have Kamuela Kirk taking on Esteban Ribovics. Kamuela Kirk, 11-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that submission loss to Damon Jackson more than 1 full year ago. He's taking on Esteban Ribovics. Esteban Ribovics, 11-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision loss to Loik Radzhabov. This line took off. The odds makers said, this is probably about an even fight. And then people with money said, absolutely not. Spoiler alert, I have a full unit on Esteban Ribovics, and I think he gets it done. There it is.
That might be the biggest bet of the year.
It's up there because we got Kamuela Kirk. He is a grappler. He's got decent takedowns, but he does tend to fade later in fights. And he also can be a bit gun shy. Yes, he can get sucked into a kickboxing match. His offense is actually technical, but he's ridiculously hittable. He keeps his hands extremely low, and he'll try to manage range. He'll throw clean 1-2s, but he just will not do anything. He's just got an unbelievable lack of volume. And that loss to Damon Jackson, if you watch that back, it almost looked like he was too calm. It was just like easy breezy, bang, submitted. No sense of urgency whatsoever. It's taking on. You're like extra today, and I'm gonna need you to bring that down. I don't know what's the difference between Mondays and Tuesdays, but you're extra on Mondays, and I don't like it.
Just hold on.
Okay. Esteban Ribovics. He's a very impressive striker. He's got sneaky power. His strikes are tight. They're short. They're accurate. He's got a real high guard, so the exact opposite guard of Kamuela Kirk. And he's going to come forward. He's going to pick his shots really well, and he does have a whole bunch of impressive knockouts in his highlight, but he's not just a striker. He's got takedowns, solid BJJ as well. He'll just shoot nice, clean doubles or upper body trips. He is coming off that loss to Loik Radzhabov, though, where he was technical, and he almost got that stoppage late in the fight. Third round lit that kid up. The problem was he just had no takedown defense in that fight. I think this is a great bounce back spot for Esteban. I think he's going to be by far the much better striker. Hopefully his takedown defense holds up. If it doesn't, I'm going to need him to work back to his feet. We do know he can work back to his feet. He's got a phenomenal get-up game. I think Kamuela Kirk's gun shy is going to work against him. The year off is going to work against him. Like I said, I have a unit on Esteban Ribovics. I got it minus 200. You can get much, much better odds than that. And if this tightens even more, I actually might double down on that. I'm very, very confident in Esteban Ribovics. What do you think, Jackie boy?
Yeah, this is actually one of my, I think this is one of the better value plays on the card. And one thing that we were able to find on this fight, if you guys didn't know, our Discord is 100% free. You can join the Discord. What we've started doing, Angelo and myself, is film study. As we're watching film and we're looking at film.
Only premium members can join the film study.
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
I never interrupt you, do I? Yeah, for premium members, but we do film study. And while I was breaking this film study down, it's really because right now we're doing film breakdowns, but we've got to condense it to like 2 minutes each. Those film studies, I'm spending a half an hour on just like watching a single fighter. And what I was watching in this fight, what we found in that film study is Kamuela Kirk. I agree, he's got the hands low, the karate style, doesn't engage a lot. But when you get in his face, he is not comfortable in the pocket. He either wants to get out, and he will kind of run away from that situation, or he will just try to grab you into kind of like that Muay Thai clinch. But when he gets in that pocket, he's not rolling, he's not guard. It is either he's running or he is going to grab you. So I was interested in when Esteban is striking, can he stay in the pocket and strike? Is he in there? Pop, 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 pop. Where if he closes that distance and Kamuela's going to try and grab, he can sneak something in. Because you saw Damon Jackson a few times when we were watching that fight. He went to grab, Damon Jackson, whap, uppercut right up his jaw. So I was interested to know, can Esteban do that in those type of situations? And we watched that Loic fight, and when he knocked down Loic, it was exactly what I wanted to see. It was close distance, and it was pop, pop, pop. He had him hurt, and then the accuracy on the follow-up shots too was absolutely impressive. And you put 1 and 1 together, a lot of times that simply just equals 2. And I think it's going to come down to that. I'm not worried about Esteban being taken down because he is like Mr. Kimura. He's got all these wild sweeps. He always gets back to his feet or threatens on the ground. So I like his sweeps to get back to his feet. I'm not really worried about that. And I think on the feet, he just has a major advantage, and I think that he can put this guy away, honestly. Second round.
Yeah, I mean, we're both on the Esteban Ribovics side. I think the UFC knew what they were doing when they were putting this fight together. He's sort of a prospect for him. They were looking forward to him doing things.
Are those reaches right?
I mean, I've had typos in the past, but those should be correct. Go to UFCstats.com or just Tapology, I'll tell you. Okay. Anyway, I think you said it best when you said it's probably some of the best value on the card. We have some insane favorites on this card. A couple of traps on the card. We'll talk about those as well. But, I mean, we have an 11-1 guy that lost a razor-thin decision to a very, very good guy, and he dropped him in the 3rd round. So we learned he has a great get-up game. We learned he doesn't get frustrated. We learned he doesn't get tired. We learned he keeps his power late. I mean, what else are we waiting for? So I'm on it. 1 unit in.
Yeah,
I will throw another unit down.
Even if Kamuela gets in a situation where maybe he lands a shot or maybe he does get a takedown or whatever, Esteban's he showed he's a tough kid in that last fight too. So I'm not worried about him kind of breaking under pressure where we've seen Kamuela, break under the pressure.
Yeah, no, a year away isn't gonna. I imagine he didn't work on, like, if you're gun shy, there's a reason, right? For whatever reason, you're not letting your hands go. You're waiting for something. You're just not letting your hands go. You're such a fucking weirdo, man.
You remember when we went?
Yeah, I dominated. Actually, I didn't dominate. I did okay, though.
I thought I won.
You did not win.
Do you remember how many I hit?
Like
out of 100? It's 100 clays, right?
Yeah, how many?
But remember, this is the first time I've ever done it, and we accidentally did the advanced course. Do you remember that? Afterwards, they were like, oh, yeah,
no,
you did the...
I remember Eric and I did
buttons.
Like 60 each, 65, something like that.
I think it was like 40 or 50 out of 100.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
But we were doing the advanced course or whatever. Hitting clays out of 100. Do you know how many I got?
It was single digits, probably.
And one of them was I hit the fucking wad of the first shell.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I counted that because they're like, "Oh shit!" You guys were like, "Oh shit!" You just fucking slapped that wad out of the air. It was 3, including the wad. So that was not a fun experience for me.
That is bad. Anyway, clay shooting is a lot of fun. Sporting clay specifically is a lot of fun. Anyway,
you ever been bow fishing?
Right. Yes, I love it. I mean, I don't know why that was some weird trap. I love bow. I posted pictures in the Discord.
I was going to see. That's a trap to see if you're either going to end it. We're going on the breakdown, or you're so excited to talk about it that now we start talking.
I'm in right middle of the road because I'm a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob and I are both on the same side here. As I mentioned, if this line tightens even more, we get to minus 130 range somehow, I'll throw a whole nother unit on it. I'll be there in person. I might do it in person.
Oh, wow.
Physically have the... dude, not only am I going to be there in person.
I was at... Tiffany, I don't know if you can know. I was at
I don't
UFC.
care. I don't care.
I was at UFC 285, and while I was there, I actually got to meet Amanda. Was like, "Come here, come here, come here." Okay. And I was like, "Me? She was like, "Yeah, you come here." And so that was fun.
So anyway,
but you're not going to be in the Bud Light Lounge.
She got me floor seats. You got free tickets from your uncle. Cool.
I got them gifted to me because I'm a celebrity. That's what happened.
No, they saw the rainbow backpack and said, Bud Light Lounge. Let's go, buddy. And they brought you over there. Anyway, I think $8,500 in DraftKings. I think $8,500 in DraftKings is phenomenal value, especially when we have a $9,800 fighter. I guarantee we're going to have a $9,700 fighter on this card as well. $8,500 Esteban Ribovics is solid. He's got power, and he could potentially win this fight. Do you agree, Jakey boy? Yes, you do. Congratulations. This is funny. Jacob's in my basement. Did you ever see that video of that? Like, it's during COVID, it was a court case, and it was like the man and the woman, and there was like a domestic violence, so they're like on Zoom court. And the lawyer, like, the lawyer for the woman's like,
is he in your house?
I think he's in the other room, and then he was. that's what situation. This is.
Or the guy that went to court with his logged in and his screen name was like something fucking stupid, like fucking I eat ass or something like that, or fucking.
Hey, kick WW out of here. He doesn't appreciate the banter. He can go eat his own shit. How about that? Bye. Negative. Become a premium member. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. WW is not a premium member, and he never will be. I will block his IP. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Next up, at UFC 290, we have Shannon Ross taking on Jesus Aguilar. Shannon Ross, 13-7 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, looking for his first UFC win. He's taking on Jesus Aguilar, 8-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off a submission loss to Tatsuro Taira. What do you want?
Can you switch back to the Esteban picture real quick? Just boom, boom.
I updated it.
Now go back. Now go to where you were. Yeah, I think Shannon Ross is just like Esteban with a beard. It's what, like just different hair.
Shit.
Yeah, I think so.
A beard and a tan. A beard and a tan. How did you spot that?
I got special powers right now.
When it comes to identifying men's makeups. Anyway, Shannon Ross is actually a pretty well-rounded guy, right? His primary discipline is wrestling, but he does get sucked into some back-and-forth firefights. He has 2 losses under the UFC umbrella, but they both showed how tough he is, but also how hittable he can be. He comes forward, he puts on volume, he throws with intent, but he gets hit a lot. So he is a busy guy who fights hard. He's got solid takedowns. He is willing to train, but he gets hit, and I'm going to keep saying that over and over and over again because dude gets hit. You're going to see the stats in a second. It's bad.
Jesus?
It's bad. No, Shannon. Jesus Aguilar is a solid grappler himself. He has a knack for finding guillotines. He actually like hunts for guillotines. He doesn't just jump it like Cody Brundage, that absolute muppet. He'll actually like set it up, try to find it, work from there. It's stupid. I think guillotines are the dumbest thing in the world. But
I was the inventor of guillotines are the worst thing ever. Especially these days, I bet they have like a fucking. I bet the success rate on. What do you think the success rate of a guillotine is? I would say like 15%, 10%.
It's got to be less than that, man. It's got to be less than that. It's bad. It's bad. We mentioned this in the past. I've coached youth wrestling for not since I moved to Texas, but for many, many, many years. The jumping guillotine is the equivalent of a side headlock in wrestling. We would make kids do, even if they won with a side headlock, 100 push-ups. Because it's just a bad habit to get into, and if you just get comfortable with it, you're going to do it forever, and it's stupid. It's stupid.
Back in the day, you could get it from like any angle, but now it's like unless you're in full guard, you just people are just too good defensively now, and even full guard people pop out of them all the time.
I hear you, dog. Anyway, Jesus Aguilar finds that guillotine. He gets it. He is not just jumping it pathetically. Like, he's literally setting it up. It's his go-to submission win. And he'll do it even when he's on top. So he's not just pulling guard or any of that nonsense. But he does set them up, and he looks for him. He can strike as well. He's got solid combinations. He looks like he has some pretty good power. He's a bit wild. He's very active. He's fun to watch. He's coming off that submission loss to Tatsuro Taira, where I joked in the Quick Picks video, he doubled Tatsuro's strikes in that fight. Do you know how many strikes he landed? Doubled Tatsuro's.
I wasn't listening to you.
2. He landed 2. Tatsuro landed 1 strike, 1 by submission. Jesus Aguilar landed 2. Pretty impressive. Anyway, there's a real Mexico.
I had most significant strikes that fight, that bet. I had $10,000 on it.
Wow. And you still live in that?
Obviously, I'm not in my car right now, so I think we're doing okay.
I think Jesus wins. Clear Mexico push going on here. I think the fact that Shannon is so insanely hittable is going to work for Jesus. Here's the stats. The dude is hit with 9 significant strikes per minute. Jacob, what are your thoughts? I got to talk through the monitor because these girls are not going to bed.
You gonna yell at them? Oh, look at this. Oh, shit. Look, let's try and read lips. Lay the fuck down and go to fuck. Let's read the lips. Sit the fuck down, you. If you don't. Hold on. We'll do lip reading. Hold on. I said you No! What the fuck did I just say? All right, I think we're good.
They insist on, in the summer, can we sleep in the same bed? Can we say they hate each other, but can we sleep in the same bed? And then on the monitor now, the little one's screaming. It's a whole thing. All right,
and they're 20s. They're 20. What are they doing? What the fuck? Did I break down this fight yet? No. Okay, so what I was going to say, because I kind of scoffed at your saying Jesus kind of throws good combinations or whatever, because this is another fight that we broke down in the film room, and when that guy throws, it is a swinging wild overhand right, followed by a swinging wild overhand left, where he's just like this, just throwing it with his chin straight up in the air, and then he'll either use that to close the distance and then work for a takedown, or he'll just fucking throw that and not give a fuck. And I have to imagine that Shannon knows that's coming and can time it. But the issue is, I don't trust either one of these guys. Jesus should have the advantage here in the grappling, in the wrestling, but his takedowns are not very good. Sometimes he has a good timing on the takedowns, and if he has good timing on takedowns, when people are getting over-aggressive, he can get good takedowns. But when he is shooting takedowns and he is getting people up against the fence, it is those stupid fucking lat drop takedowns, and it didn't work a few times in his fights. The person just fell straight into full mount on his back, and he's such a small dude that, if he can't get the takedowns, I think he might be in trouble on the feet in this fight. But if Shannon Ross gets submitted or knocked out, I'm not going to be surprised as well. So just because of the striking discrepancies that I believe Jesus has, I'm going to go with Shannon Ross. But as an underdog pick, for sure, I think this is more of a 50-50 fight, so I'll take the dog here. But I don't trust you. I'm not putting any money on him. I mean, if I'm making a pick, that's my pick. But I don't trust either one of these guys to put money on him. For Jesus is almost 2-1, or Shannon Ross as a dog. I think you just stay away from this fight.
Yeah, I mean, to get hit with 9 significant strikes per minute, and it's not like he just had one fight in the
strikes
UFC.
Are just so fuck. I mean, he just cocks that thing back and just so telegraphed. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, we're on opposite sides of this one for sure. Would you like to bet $100? I would love to bet $100.
With the odds?
No, not with the odds. Be a man. You said it was a 50-50 fight.
I literally just sat here and said I wouldn't put money on Shannon Ross, and now you're calling me like a pussy, like I was like touting him. I said I wouldn't put any money on him, so if I am, I do want the odds.
Very soft.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fucking common sense. You can play it however you want. You're the one that's pushing out. I accept a bet with the odds, and you're saying no. That's
okay,
what just
fine.
happened right
I'll
now.
take it. -175.
There you go. I just bullied you into that fucking bet. You beta bitch. Go to the next fight. Let's go. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Beta.
Do as I say.
Sent me the $100 last
Do
time?
as I say.
I'll kick you out of here. I'll do this show by myself. Watch if I get.
Let's move on. Let's see what happens here. I said move on.
$8,600 in DraftKings. I don't mind that on Jesus. I do think he wins, obviously, and I think he wins by finish. We've seen that before. You gonna spend $7,600 on your boy Shannon?
I said I don't trust him and I wouldn't bet on him, so he's not going to my lineup.
But good thing you told everybody that he's your pick. Great.
We got to make picks, right? If I sat here and was like, no pick for me, you'd be like, oh my god, that's not how this works. And then you'd come and you'd call HR, and then Martha would come the next day, sit me down, and be like, listen, this is third strike and you're out. You're just trying to set me up for this third strike is what you're doing.
I'm just looking forward to getting my money. WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member. You get access to all the bets, but not just the bets. You also get the optimizer. You'll get the detailed data and metrics. You'll get the line movement tracker. You'll get Artem's picks. He's got the sniffles this week, but you'll get Artem's picks. You'll get everything else. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Just click become a member at the top.
Oh, I like that.
Doesn't even make any sense.
Well, that's what a Karen would say.
Next up at UFC 290, we have Cameron Saaiman taking on Terrence Mitchell. Terrence Mitchell stepping up on short notice, but tried and true vet at this point. Dude has 17 fights. He's 15-2 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5, and he's making his UFC debut a few years after a failed Ultimate Fighter run. He's taking on Cameron Saaiman, who's undefeated in his career. He's 8-0. He's coming out with a decision win over Manny Martinez. Cameron's a fun technical guy, right? He can grapple if he needs to. He does a good job stepping into combinations. He finishes those with leg kicks. When you think you sort of have his striking cadence figured out, he'll work in some grappling. He'll do a spinning attack. He's sort of all over the place. I don't know why you're pretending to be frozen, but these are the weird autistic things that you do that everybody's like, pretty sure Jacob's autistic. And then I have you and web guy Josh in a text message being like, actually, if one of you, it'd probably be Angelo. It's ridiculous. And then you're doing this right now in front of 300 people live. I'm the weirdo. Okay? You're blinking, you moron. Cameron Saaiman. As I mentioned, you'll fall in that striking rhythm. You think you have him, he's going to shoot. He's going to spin. He doesn't really have incredible power, but he's fast, he's accurate. He is relentless enough to get it done. He is coming off that win over Manny Martinez, but there was 2 wild nut shots in that fight. There was an eye poke and a point deduction. Still managed to squeak that out. He's taking on Terrence Mitchell. This guy is long. He's lean. He's a grappler. He does not have the best takedowns, but he's very dangerous if it ends up on the ground. Unfortunately for him, if you're breaking down fights, you're looking for fight tape on Terrence Mitchell, the most popular Terrence Mitchell tape out there is cocky fighter gets knocked out in 30 seconds. And he's the cocky fighter. And he was knocked out in 30 seconds on The Ultimate Fighter by Kai Kara France after refusing to shake hands and just doing all the stupid bullshit you love to see in those fighters. But he is long. He is lean. He uses that really well, wrapping you up on the ground, making stuff happen. And he really doesn't suck on his feet despite being knocked out. Did you let one go right now? Ooh. Okay. Anyway, he'll send up kicks super fast. Just send those kicks right to your head. Faster than most people. He can knock people out. He can submit people, but he can also be taken down, held down, and just sort of out-technicaled. The short notice is probably why the line is what it is, because I think Terrence Mitchell's too good to be a plus 375 favorite against an 8-0 guy. Cameron Saaiman is good, but I haven't seen 5-1 favorite good out of him just yet. He's going to be smaller. He is basically a little Dricus du Plessis. He's actually better than Dricus. He's a little more disciplined, a little better cardio, a little better technique, but they actually are similar in their
great nut shots.
Phenomenal nut shots. It is high energy, come forward pace, but this is a tough fight. I don't think that this should be minus 500. I think it should be a little closer. Cameron should win, right? He should keep it technical. He's not the short notice guy here. If he keeps his combinations going, it should be a pretty straightforward decision win for him. But 5-1 favorite just feels a little bit wide. What do you think?
Yeah, I 100% completely agree, Angelo. I think your breakdown was absolutely fantastic for this fight. I believe he should be the favorite. And when we broke down this fight, I don't look at the odds. I was kind of guessing in the film study what the odds would be, and they would let me know. And I thought this would be about minus 250, minus 300. I think it's gotten a little bit wide because I think Terrence is a decent fighter for those odds, as Angelo already mentioned. But Cameron should be able to control this fight. What I do worry about with Cameron, especially as he's moving up, because he's probably going to be a big favorite as he's undefeated. I mean, the books love undefeated fighters that are just beating everybody. So he's probably going to continue to be a big favorite as he moves up. And I think he trusts his hand power a little bit too much, or I think he thinks he has more power than he does. All his power is really in his kicks. He's got really, really snappy, good kicks. He can elevate with the kicks. That's what his bread and butter is. But it feels like at times he thinks he's a knockout artist, and I think he hurt Mana in that fight. What's actually kind of funny is, oh shit,
I'm listening. What's funny?
No, I didn't realize. I was like, I looked up and I didn't know what the fuck. Honestly, I thought you were drinking out of a flask. I know. Honestly, I thought it was a flask. And I was like, oh my God, I really need this. I am getting to him tonight. I mean, if you're pulling the flask out. My favorite part is like, I was at this fight, the Cameron Saaiman Mana fight, and I get to rewatch it. I don't remember anything about those fights. I just realized I don't remember a thing about those fights. Like, I was watching all the point deduction. I was like, this happened in front of me. Hashtag Vegas. A lot of fun. So I do worry, in the retrospect of him throwing those kicks, He throws a lot of kicks. And as you mentioned, Terrence Mitchell, if he can get on top of you, he is so long and he is dangerous there. So one of the things I do worry about is Cam with all those kicks that one is caught. He's drugged to the ground. Dragged to the ground?
Dragged.
Drug? When do you say drug?
I think it's dragged.
I know. You say drug at some point.
Maybe, I don't know.
Drug something across. I drugged the dead body across the floor.
He drug. Maybe third person is drug. No, he dragged. Here we go. Drug versus drag. Here, I'll look this up. You finish what the hell you were saying.
So I do worry about him throwing kicks, getting him caught, and then now he's losing around. I don't think he's going to win the fight, but there is a possibility he might lose a round. And then, with Vegas judges, maybe weird things happen or whatever. But yeah, I don't necessarily see him getting a finish because I think he doesn't have as much power as people think he might. But he should be able to control this fight.
Drug isn't. It says drug is used in some dialects. Dragged is the past tense form of drag. So.
Oh, so it's like slang.
Yeah, it's your white trash, middle of nowhere, growing up slang. Congratulations.
Oh, I was thinking drugged. Like I was drugged a few weekends ago.
A lot of people here haven't even heard that story.
I told the story.
We're not doing it now.
I told the story on the live stream too Saturday.
I heard it. That's one of the very few stories I did hear before I
was it
pissed
funny?
in my buddy's pool for about 4 hours.
Was it funny? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I already knew the ending, but anyway. Oh no, you told it on. You didn't tell it. You told it Thursday during the call-in show. Because
I told it. I told it again on the live stream Saturday, so you don't listen. You listen to me, but you don't hear me sometimes.
So we're both on the camera Saaiman side. I am going to fade this $9,400 in DraftKings. Terrence Mitchell is better than these odds. He should probably lose. And honestly, if this was full camp versus full camp, I actually would be much more confident, Terrence. So you're going to see the heights here, that they're the same. Essentially, it's only a 2-inch difference. I'm telling you, when they get
2 inches is a lot. Now, that's a big 2 inches. Let me tell you, that's a big 2 inches.
When they get to weigh-ins, it's going to look a lot more than that. He is long. He's lean. I don't even know where the weight cut's going to come from. It's short notice. For that reason, I'm leaning a little more towards Cameron, but definitely going to fade him in DraftKings at that $9,400 price point. If you want full access to our DraftKings tools, the ownership projections, the optimizer, the rankings, everything you could ever need to build a winning DraftKings lineup.
I think it is willed.
WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 a month for every single thing we have ever mentioned in the history of premium membership. We have a $2 super chat from Sam. Sam took an absolute beating this past weekend, but still appreciates us, and we appreciate you, Sammy boy. Thank you very much. Isn't Sam the stream legend?
No.
Oh,
well,
sorry, Sam.
I mean, is there and donates and stuff, so we do appreciate.
Yeah,
Sam.
I thought he was the guy that
Patrick Shelley is the.
Okay.
I think Patrick Shelley got humbled a little bit that co-main. He convinced me to put. He's like, I'm all in on Demir because that fight, even leading up to that fight, I'm a big Demir guy. But I was saying, I was a little bit worried on the Demir side, and I had a bet on him for the value, but it wasn't anything like the live stream because I was like, what should I do? And this Patrick Shelley guy is like, I'm loaded to the gills, Demir. So I put $600 on the money line for Demir on the live stream, and that was a very depressing fight because there was no shot.
And it was boring. It was a boring loss, too.
There was no shot. There was not a single instance of that fight where I was like, oh, we might win. It was just fucking from the start.
Well, Huey became a member on YouTube. Welcome, Huey. Next up, at UFC 290, we have Vitor Petrino taking on Marcin Prachnio. Not a ton of line movement here, but there is still some line movement. If anything, I thought this would tighten, but it hasn't. It has widened a little bit. We got Vitor Petrino undefeated at 8-0, coming off his first decision win, taking on Marcin Prachnio, 16-6, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that bag workout with William Knight there. This is an interesting fight, though, because we have seen these last 3 weeks. How many 8-0, 10-0 prospects have we seen lose to these mid-range veterans it's been a ton these last few weeks. It's not even close. I can't remember any. It just happened with Bruno Ferreira. Before that, it happened with who's
Blake Miller,
squarehead wild man.
SpongeBob?
No, Chepe beat him. Blake Builder it happened to. A lot of these 8-0, 9-0, 10-0. That chick, Petrovic, just happened to her. So we're seeing
Not
these,
Brazilians. You'll never see it from my Brazilian brothers.
We're seeing it happen to a lot of these undefeated young up-and-coming prospects. And this would be an interesting one because Marcin Prachnio, while he doesn't have the greatest MMA record, and specifically in the UFC, his record is not fantastic, he has over 400 combat karate wins, not fights, wins. He's insanely, like, just a super long list of accomplishments outside the UFC. His MMA style is just a technical brawler, if you will, but he has no problem getting into a firefight. He picks his shots pretty well. The issue is his chin can have issues with that style. He does have incredible power, but he's sort of KO or bust. That win over William Knight was weird. He did light up William's legs. Great game plan against an explosive, dangerous guy like William. That same game plan against Vitor could get it done as well. Because Vitor, ooh, there's thunder outside my window. You have that by you?
No, we don't allow. We control the weather here, so we just...
You live in cloudy with a chance of meatballs
town?
Oh,
I just heard. That's actually funny. I just now heard that thunder. Oh, my God. It's like, it was the same thunder. That's crazy. It's like when you look out and I'm looking out, we're looking at the same moon.
Vitor Petrino is an absolute killer. He's a striker. His left hook, I mentioned this a bunch of times, feels like Alex Pereira's. It's just short, thwap, right there, catches people with it. He's a striker. Every single one of his opponent's game plans has been and will continue to be, let me take this guy down. His takedown defense is just okay. He does a nice job working his way back up, avoiding danger. He was in a full triangle on the Contender Series and just Rampage Jackson his way out of that. So he doesn't panic when he's in those situations. He's going to be a problem for a lot of people, but he does need to button some things up. He's a little loose. Takedown defense needs a little bit of work, but Vitor Petrino should win this fight. He's got the power. He has the wrestling. We know he has the cardio now with that decision win. Marcin is much, much better than his 3-4 UFC record. He's going to have all the veteran savvy, though. Vitor is dangerous. I'm going to go Vitor here. I think he does connect with Marcin, but we've seen these veterans sort of out-technique, outsmart these young guys. So I'd keep an eye on this one, and I think there's better betting spots than this fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, there's a couple things that do worry me. First of all, I went back and I watched the Prachnio fight versus Khalil Roundtree because I think that's the most comparable guy to a guy like Vitor. Somebody that's, how does he fight somebody that he knows has power? Because I think it's well known that Khalil has a power. And I was very impressed. I mean, in that first round of that fight, he was very, very sound defensively. I mean, everywhere where he needed to be after throwing combinations, he was blocking the Khalil return shots very, very well. He ended up winning that fight. But when I was watching that and I see the second round start, in that second round against a power puncher, it almost seemed like he was getting a little bit bored and being so defensive, and he wanted to get something back. He wanted to land, because that's when Khalil was landing a little bit more, and he starts getting a little bit more wide open and a little bit more desperate with his shots, and his defense isn't there. Instead of his left hand right here, now his left hand's down here. And I think with Vitor, what he showed in his last fight is he can carry that power through 3 rounds. I don't think he wants to, be that a 3-round guy, but he's shown that he can go 3 rounds. And that was even a fight where, and that was my other point, my other kind of red flag is the fight IQ seemed a little bit low to me, because I don't know why there was so much wrestling. It seemed like every time he was on the feet, he was having such success with Anton, but he just kept wanting to kind of wrestle a wrestler, which didn't really make sense to me. I hope that he just kind of picks this apart on the feet, stands on the feet, and just kind of bides his time. Obviously, he's going to swing a little bit wild, which is also another red flag. But I think Prachnio is going to be defensively sound enough, be a little bit scared to throw the offense in the first round. And I'm going to predict a second round Vitor KO. I think that's when he's going to get it done. But I'm a Vitor guy all the way. But I agree. There's those young guys are dropping like flies.
Yeah. And it's that fight IQ. I mean, what you just mentioned, everything you just mentioned is a perfect example. Why are you wrestling like that? You don't need to be shooting. You don't need to be expending that kind of energy. You don't need to do those things. He did them anyway, and he got the win. And I'm actually glad. I'm glad the fight went that way, because he legitimately, we got to see that he has the cardio. We got to see he can wrestle. Like, we got to see a lot out of him. So I'm glad it went that way. Sorry, I'm watching the monitor. Tiffany's now laying in their bed. There's now 3 women in a full-size bed. What a joke.
I bet 30% of the people in the chat just put their hand in their pants.
2 of those women are under 7 years old. So.
Little Prince.
2 hands on the desk. It was you. You're the one who's like. Anyway, I don't like that he made those poor decisions. I do like that we got to see him go to a decision. That does give me confidence in him. I think he wins. I think the opening odds are probably accurate. 300, it's starting to push it a little bit, but Vitor Petrino should get this done. $9,000 in DraftKings is tricky because we have seen these 16-6 style veterans win these fights. Marcin Prachnio was supposed to lose to William Knight, who hits like a freight train, but he froze him up with those leg kicks. Same could happen here, but I trust Vitor a little more than William, so I think I'll spend the $9,000 in DraftKings because if he wins, it will be by knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he proved enough in his last fight that he can withstand a little bit of adversity. There was definitely some adversity in that fight, so I don't think he's going to fold under whatever Marcin's going to do. And Marcin's a guy that has kind of revived his career. I mean, he was 3 straight knockouts in a row or something. One to Sam Alvey. So he used to be that guy that got knocked out pretty easily, and he could easily return to that form, especially against a guy with the power of Vitor. So I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if this is an early knockout and the $9,000 seems like pretty good value compared to some other people.
There we go. WeWantPicks.com. Become a member. It's only $10 a month. If you're there for bets, we got nothing but bets. If you're there for insight information, we have raw notes. We have tools like the fight history tracker, the odds, what the hell do I call it? The line movement tracker, the 38 columns of detailed data metrics. If you're there for fantasy, we have DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, and Underdog Fantasy. All the content you could ever want. $10 a month, the greatest value in this space. $5 super chat from Discord's banned because he's a turd burger to the extreme. Starlin Ramirez
with no sesame seeds.
Maddalena plus Taira, Turner, and Whittaker
with no sesame seeds. That means it's a cheap bun.
I just bought some sausages for tomorrow, and I bought the buns with the sesame seeds.
I told you. There you go. That's upper middle class, baby.
There it is.
Sesame seeds. We don't care if you take a drug test and you might get popped. Daddy will get us out of it.
Those are poppy seeds. Nickel isn't tested yet and looked questionable last night.
Sesame seeds can make you fail drug tests.
When we get to that Bo Nickel fight, that absolute narrative of the nut shot is just so absurd to me. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, Starling, by the way, rumor was that he lost it all. Mr. fucking genius. Rumor was he lost it all this weekend.
Well, he had $5 left, and we just got it. $20 from MMA Sco Williams. Keep up the great content, fellas. Amazing value for just $10. Sign up if you haven't. I mean, thank you so much. That's genuinely appreciated. Not only is a super chat appreciated, but the kind words. That's why I like to show the winning tickets from the community. I can come here and say whatever I want, but the reality is, even if Jacob and I have an off night, just the tools, the insight, the information, the Discord premium members chatting in the WWP lounge, sharing information, all of that helps everybody get better, find their spots, make more money. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for all the.
What do you think SCO stands for?
SCO? I don't know. Am I supposed to know?
In his name.
Southern California Oscar. His name's Oscar.
It's just Scott, man.
Oh. Was there a T? Anyway, $5 from Mr. Butters. Thanks for all the advice last week.
That's a great name.
That might be sarcasm, but thank you so much, Mr. Butters with a Z.
With a Z. Diaz, is it? Diaz with a Z.
Next up, at UFC 290, we have Tatsuro Taira taking on Edgar Chairez in a short notice step-up fight. Tatsuro Taira was supposed to fight, I think, 2 weeks ago. And at weigh-ins, that fight was canceled. This guy cut weight. Fight was canceled. Little uncertainty. My fight on the next card. The card after that. What am I doing?
Oh, is this where you're trying to set up your stupid argument here?
Excuse me.
Guys, if you're watching this live, I apologize. If you're watching this as a video, skip forward 3 minutes.
So he's taking out Edgar Chairez, but hit the like button before you skip forward. Edgar Chairez.
They're already gone.
10-4 overall. Also stepping up on short notice, and the only reason I set it up that way is both of these men have stepped up on short notice. Just because Taira had a camp and then made weight and had to come back, like this is a short notice fight. Their bodies are going to go through the exact same thing. So the line is a little crazy to me, but we'll talk about that in a second. We got Tatsuro Taira. He is undefeated still. He's 13-0. He has 11 finishes in that 13-0. He's taking on Edgar Chairez, 10-4 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5. And he's trying to get his short notice UFC debut here. Edgar should not be a plus 600, right? And the reason I don't think he should be is he's actually pretty solid. His striking offense is fast. It's in your face. His takedowns are decent. His PJJ is actually very good as well. The only real issue for him is that he is hittable, but he's got a good enough chin. It doesn't really matter. He's going to come forward, throw long kicks, box you up, snatch up a single leg, look to get you to the ground. He is that viral sensation from 2 months ago. Where, remember 2 months ago, that guy was in the triangle choke?
I don't remember 2 hours ago.
The guy was in the triangle choke, completely unconscious. The referee just stood there watching. Then he transitioned to an armbar, like broke this dude's arm 6 times. But the guy's unconscious, so he's not tapping. The referee's just sitting there.
Edgar did that?
That was Edgar.
I'm putting a bet on that mother. No, I'm just...
But do you know the video I'm talking about? That was Edgar.
What are you talking about?
Okay. Because you're going to see his record. Oh, CJ Vergara. Oh, he submitted him. This guy has no submission defense. No, he's a solid grappler. He's taking on Tatsuro Taira, who's a very good grappler. I mean, he's #1 ranked flyweight in Japan. He is still very, very young at 23 years old. Style-wise, he can be patient on his feet. He does have some okay power in his hands. He is a strong grappler. That is his style. Grapple, come forward, get some takedowns if you can. They're not the cleanest takedowns, but he's going to stick with them. He's going to drag you. He's going to pull you down. He's going to try to make something happen. He's going to get you to the ground. He's going to work from there. He's coming off that first round submission win over Jesus Aguilar. And listen, I did tape study on this fight, like Jacob did. I did my tape study in the Discord. And there wasn't that many people watching, maybe 5 or 6. In that group of 5 or 6 people and myself,
God.
We were like, I don't know how Edgar is such a massive underdog. The guy can bang on his feet. He can get takedowns. He's got solid jiu-jitsu. I don't know why he is such a massive underdog here. So here's the thing. I'm giving the slightest of edge to Taira. I think this is a 49-51 fight. I'll give Taira the 51, but at plus 600, I threw $25 on the incredibly tough Mexican who submitted that dude and broke his arm multiple times over, who has 14 fights, who has fought much higher level of competition than Taira. I like Edgar Chairez with my bet, pick-wise, 49-51. Jacob, why don't you go ahead and disagree with me?
Well, I will disagree with you because I don't think it's as close as you said. But I will say that I don't want to say I'm a Tatsuro hater, but I think I'm a realist when it comes to Tatsuro. I think that these odds are definitely wide. I don't think Tatsuro is as good a fighter as people believe he is, especially in the grappling, because he can get out-wrestled. He can get out-grappled. We've seen that literally happen. It's not like maybe it can't happen. We've literally seen that happen in his fights, him getting taken down, him getting out-scrambled, him getting swept. So anytime I see him at like minus 900, it's like I roll my eyes at it. But in this fight, I think he should be fine in this fight because I was very anti-Tatsuro with Clayton, right? Clayton was my pick. That was my big underdog play. But Clayton had in my opinion, had a wild advantage in the striking and could still do enough in the sweeps and the grappling to kind of stay alive on the ground. But it was the striking advantage I believe he had was why I was so high on him against Tatsuro. In this, I just don't see that same striking advantage that Edgar has over Tatsuro. I think it's close in the striking, but I think Tatsuro can do enough on the feet and then excel in the ground because I think Edgar is a better grappler than Clayton. I think we both agree with that, but he can get taken down. And when he is working submissions, he is comfortable off his back. I mean, he will work submissions off his back, but he is comfortable on his back. And I just think Tatsuro is too good to be one of those guys, and he can keep the control. And once Edgar starts getting back to his feet, he's so good at backpacking people and keeping control. So if this turns into a bunch of sweeps, I mean, if Tatsuro's getting swept early, this could be a live bet situation. Because let's say Tatsuro is getting takedowns, but he's getting swept and they get back to their feet. I think I would place a bet on Edgar. It's like, okay, he's getting back to his feet. He's sweeping him. He's doing enough. So this might be a weird live bet situation if you see Tatsuro struggling with control in the first round. But I think he's going to be able to do enough with the takedowns and control to win this fight. But I agree. I think Edgar is a tough dude and well versed on the ground. And I placed a Mexican parlay that I feel good about.
There you go.
But
there's a lot of Mexicans on this card. Yeah, there's a ton of Mexicans on this card. And the UFC wants them to win. That's a wild, untapped, it's not untapped, but a wild market with just generations of combat sports fans.
They got a few champions.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Grasso, they got Moreno, they got Aldana.
It's definitely the next huge market. Canada, when GSP was there.
It's a joke. They don't have Aldana.
Yeah. Oh, sick. Dork. So listen, like I said, I threw $25 because plus 600 is insane. We agree plus 600 is insane. What would you put these odds at if you were the capper?
Honestly, I mean, I don't think Tatsuro should be anything, unless he's fighting like a bum, anything over minus 350. So I put it minus 300. I mean, I think just because of what he's shown in the past, he's worth that. But, you know, I still wouldn't play at minus 300.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Listen, plus 600, I threw $25 on it. That's a quarter of a unit for me. A unit for me is $100. I threw $25 on it. We'll see what happens. It's a nice little return there if short notice, super tough guy. And like I said, Tatsuro Taira, this is essentially short notice for him too. He has to cut weight. He was not, I mean, he had like 4 extra days notice than Edgar did for this fight. So, $9,600 in DraftKings, no thank you. $6,600, maybe. There's some massive favorites on this card with some insane pricing. So I may go $6,600 to free up some spots. We'll see what that looks like. Certainly use our DraftKings optimizer. It'll build lineups for you. Use the optimizer to help build these large field tournament lineups, because the reality is you're going to need some exposure to Edgar if you're doing some GPP type stuff. So if you don't know anything I just said means, WeWantPicks.com, become a member. It's only $10. Take the beginner's guide to DraftKings course. It'll walk you through everything you need to know. Play some DraftKings. Have some fun. It's only $10 a month. It's pouring outside, Jakey boy. You hear it?
Not raining here. Never rains here.
Well, it's pouring here. Next up at UFC 290, we have the rematch. We got Jimmy Crute taking on Alonzo Menifield. Jimmy Crute, 12-3 overall, 2-2 in his last 5. The reality is he's 2-2-1 in his last 5. He's taking on Alonzo Menifield, 15-2 overall, 3-1-1.
Do we need to even talk all that? They've already fought.
Okay,
so who cares all the background stuff? Just talk about when they fought.
Hey, don't.
You want to cut some time? It'd be an easy thing to do. It doesn't matter. We've seen them fall. Just say how they fought.
You think every single person that the 12,000, 15,000 people that are going to watch this video, every single one of them saw their first fight?
That's what I'm saying. You just talk about the fight and how they
did.
That's all that matters.
I'm about to. Jimmy Crute is a solid wrestler who averages. So this is a rematch. This is from UFC 284 a few months ago. Jimmy Crute won all the wrestling exchanges. Alonzo Menifield won all the striking exchanges. Alonzo Menifield dropped Jimmy twice, almost had him out of there 2 times, but Jimmy would recover, get the takedowns. It came down to the 3rd round. Alonzo Menifield dropped him. That was his round. He was going to win that round. And then he glanced, his fingers grazed the fence on a takedown attempt, and the referee took away a point. Draw, which sucks.
Lock of the week.
Because Alonzo Menifield won that fight. Yes, he did grab the fence. The reality is he won that fight. I hate when the referees sort of put it in their own hands, but it is what it is. Because even with the takedown, it was a draw. Meaning he grabbed the fence, ended up getting taken down. If Jimmy Crute just cruised and dominated that round, that should have won him the fight. But instead, the point deduction just made it a draw. So now this becomes, who do you think wins the rematch? We have Jimmy Crute, very good wrestler, good grappler as well. He's averaging about 5 takedowns per fight. That also means he's letting people up 4 times, but he's averaging about 5 takedowns per fight. He's taking on Alonzo Menifield. The guy's a beast. He's got incredible power. Normally, great takedown defense. It was actually surprising how easily he was getting taken down in this fight, but normally great takedown defense. And we know he has cardio. He's gone the distance a few times. So this is just striker versus grappler, essentially. It is a rematch. I am on the Alonzo Menifield side. I will say these odds are probably perfect. I actually would cap Jimmy as the favorite because Jimmy Crute won more minutes in that fight. Jimmy Crute, in 15 minutes, he won 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. He was dropped a few times, and avoiding that power is going to be the trick in this rematch. I am going to lean Alonzo, though, and really what pushed me over the edge for Alonzo here is because in every interview since that fight, Jimmy Crute nonstop talks about Alonzo's power, how hard he hits, how surprised he was by how hard he hits. And I think it's in his head. And I think his shots are going to be from farther away. I think his wrestling is going to be a little hesitant. Or he's just going to be desperate to wrestle because he's afraid to get hit as hard as he was. So Alonzo Menifield with a very slight lean here. But these odds are correct. Jimmy Crute should probably be the slight favorite. What do you think?
I have no idea how. I understand that was a draw, and I understand that he did have some wrestling. He did have some grappling in that fight. But I have no idea how you can make Jimmy Crute a favorite in this fight because that dude was almost put out multiple times, and he was saved by the round. He was saved by the round at one point. And Alonzo Menifield, it was his mistakes from losing that fight. Obviously, the point deduction is what it is, but I'm just talking about inside the fight. I mean, this is essentially when I was breaking it down is essentially Phil Rowe and Neil Magny. If Phil Rowe stays at range against Neil Magny, he probably knocks him out or he hurts him enough. But if you play that game, now you're giving him an opportunity to win the fight. You're playing the game that he wants to play. There was multiple times when Alonzo Menifield at range, pop, 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 landing big shots. Jimmy Crute, in my mind, is literally one of the worst strikers in the UFC, regardless of gender or division. I mean, it is awful
Worse
what
than
he
Ryan
tries
Hall?
to do. It is awful what Ryan Hall is. I mean, in, out, bouncy. He's got the kicks. He's the wheel kicks,
That was
the
my
side
mistake.
kicks. Wop, wop, wop. The 1-2 down the pipe. Broke his hand one fight. He hit so fucking hard. So don't ever fucking disrespect me. What's the TikTok? Don't ever call me disrespect me like that.
If this is you, yeah. When the New York guy, when people are walking by,
Yeah.
Don't disrespect me walking by looking like a fat George, like just
with those dusty ass shoes, disrespecting me or whatever he said. Fucking. Anyway, but I mean, this is essentially if Alonzo Menifield stays at range and keeps striking, he's gonna knock this dude's head off. But in that fight, there was one part where he boom, 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 lands a good combination. You can physically see Jimmy Crute is like glazed over, hands low, and Alonzo Menifield just he gets on him on the cage, and he just is holding him. There was a minute 30 left in the round. He's just holding. He could have just already got the guy out of there. 10 seconds left in the round. I think this was the second round. Pop, pop, pop. That's when he just drops him at the end of the round. Couldn't finish him to finish. If he did that a minute ago, this fight's over and there's no rematch or whatever. There were so many opportunities where now Jimmy Crute's on the ground and Alonzo Menifield's got him in a headlock position. Get back to space. Let him up. He doesn't want to be, but instead, Alonzo Menifield circled around, got his back. Now Crute is now.
Are you
working.
okay, dude?
What?
Just take a deep breath.
I'm passionate about this
crazy.
shit. I'm fucking passionate about this shit. I'm telling you. This is a lock. I already lost this lock of the week once. He might be the lock of the week again. I'm trying to get this through Alonzo. If you're watching this, there was a time where he was like circling around, and that led Crute try to jump on a single after that, and then that's how he's getting taken down. Stay the fuck away from Jimmy Crute. You don't need any looping shots at all. This is Joe Pyfer versus Gerald Mearshart. Pop, pop, 1-2, straight down the fucking pipe. This dude's gonna be going like this, smiling, waiting to eat that shot. You're gonna knock him out. Please do not do any grappling. He's got a good takedown defense. He just put himself in bad situations. Alonzo Menifield should just fucking dominate this fight, dude. Just knock his head off, man, please. No disrespect, Jimmy. I mean, but it is what it is.
So we're on the same side of this fight. You're just a little farther on that spectrum. Like other
Somebody
things
said
in life.
Alonzo
You're a little
Rivas.
farther on the spectrum. So we are on the same side. I do like Alonzo Menifield to win. I'm not going to bet the fight just because, I mean, Jimmy Crute may just come in diving at ankles, and this may be
even when he does that, he
Ismagulov
gets
fight.
tired. Even if he does that, he gets tired. Oh wow!
Yeah,
Pop
I mean,
button. That was wow.
Professionals. $8,000 in DraftKings. I mean, if it's anything like that, that last fight didn't have a winner, and he still scored really well because of the knockdowns. 10 points per knockdown.
He should knock this dude out, man. I mean, it should be not hard at all.
Well, I'll be rooting for it, as will you. Maybe I'll grab what's Alonzo Menifield inside the distance decision, no action? What's that look like? It's probably minus 250.
I don't know. Let me find that for you, sir.
Bet. That's a great. I can't believe I didn't do that yet. That is a great freaking bet.
Well, yeah, it's probably gonna be fucking. I don't know.
Gilbert says this is why he asked about the autism.
Why? Because I'm fucking passionate, articulate, smart. Oh,
Girls,
here we go.
Chill out and lay down.
Go the fuck to sleep. Jesus Christ.
I hear you.
8:30. Hell, you should have been asleep 4 hours ago.
Tell me the freaking odds so we can move on here.
Well, it's internet's a little slow over here. It's raining. Oh shit!
Yeah.
What do you? -115.
All right, I'm going to place that next time you're talking. That's a perfect bet. Absolute perfect bet. WeWantPicks.com. Link your Discord to see if I place that bet. And when I do, you'll get an alert immediately on your phone through the Discord. You'll get alerts anytime we place any bets, make any picks, or do anything. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Become a member. What are you waiting for? It's freaking $10. What are we doing? I told you I'm going to be at UFC 290. I'm going to be at UFC 290. If you're going to be there, I'll buy you a beer. A beer in Vegas is going to cost way more than
$20. Those things, but they are big. I mean, they're like the big things.
So
but
what?
Bud Light Lounge, every time I got a beer for me and Big Don, I mean, it was like, the way it was $50 after the tip. You know, I mean, I'm throwing stuff around.
Congratulations on
A lot
all
of
your
I'm
success.
throwing some things around. You know what I mean? I throw that dang. You trying to get
Good
the
for
pipe?
you. Good for
Trying to
you.
get the pipe?
I don't know what you're saying, but no.
You trying to get the pipe?
Next up, at UFC 290, we have Yazmin Jauregui taking on Denise Gomes. Yazmin is undefeated.
Oh, that's
10-0.
well, I just want to apologize to my to the Mexican community and my Latino and Latina friends for his behavior.
Jauregui, you go ahead and say it.
What you say is not a reflection on my thoughts or behavior.
Pronounce her last name correctly, because it is nothing like how it's spelled at all. There's letters in the pronunciation that don't exist in the spelling. Go ahead.
Me llamo Jacob.
Yeah. So Yazmin is undefeated in her career. She's 10-0. She's coming off her first stoppage in the UFC. She's taking on Denise Gomes, 7-2, 4-1 in her last 5, coming off that stoppage win over Brana Brazil. This is another interesting fight. Some pretty wide lines here, but I get it. Yazmin's a powerful striker. She's got a very promising career ahead of her. She's got good pressure. Really impressive combination. She's going to enter the pockets with high kicks, finish with overhands and uppercuts. If she smells blood, she's going to throw everything at you to get that finish. And as impressive a striker as she is, her grappling is pretty solid as well. She got nice body locks, good takedowns, good takedown defense. She's coming off that wild win over Estela Nunes where she had 2 knockdowns and the finish, but she got a little ice skatey there in the first round. She was dropped and was almost put out herself pretty early. She's taking on Denise Gomes. Denise is a striker. She can grapple as well. She is hittable, but incredibly tough and never out of a fight. She's going to continue to come forward, bite down, and just bomb away. It takes her a few minutes to get going, but once she's dialed in, she picks up a pace, and she just has no problem taking one to give one. Listen, I think Yazmin should win this fight. I think it's set up for her to win. Like I said, there is a clear Mexico push from the UFC, and this is one of those fights. She's a young, very solid prospect, and I think she's going to win this fight. With that being said, Denise is very tough. She's not just going to get out of there with a solid combination. She'll stay in your face regardless of what's happening. I think under 2.5 is probably the best value you're going to get on this fight. It's still plus money because it's women.
Did you play that?
I did. I parlayed it.
Oh, I played it as well. I didn't even know you actually played it. Wow,
There you
great
go. Yeah,
minds. What do they say about great minds? You know what I mean? They think alike.
There you go. So I parlayed under 2.5 on this fight with another bet. We'll talk about that a little later. But the reality is I think Yazmin either stops Denise, even though she's super tough, or she could get exhausted, slow down, not get Denise out of there like she expected to, and Denise could take over, potentially get a submission. So Yazmin's the pick. I think under 2.5 is the best value. I'm not minus 400 is a little crazy. What do you think?
Guys, the only breakdown you're going to need for this fight is coming up right here, so fucking sit down and listen. I know Denise very, very well. Was my lock of the week in her last fight against Bruna Brazil. She smoked her. I get it. I've seen a lot of people this week that are like, oh, Gomes is going to beat this girl because Yazmin got knocked out or knocked down in her last fight, and Denise has power. We've seen the power from Denise, so they're trying to add 1 and 1 to make 2. What I say earlier, a lot of times 1 + 1 does equal 2. In this situation, guys, you got to understand that just because somebody has power doesn't mean they're getting knockouts if somebody else is getting dropped. Yazmin was dropped in the first round of that fight, not from power. Had nothing to do with power. It was with speed. She threw a lazy leg kick, or I think it was a lazy leg kick, and Nunes, Estela Nunes just sniped her with that right hand, right down the pipe. Pop! Very, very fast. Estela Nunes, that's what she does best. She is very, very fast with very, very quick counters. And Yazmin had some issues with that in that fight, and that's why she got dropped, because she couldn't get all the way inside. And when she would blitz in, she would come in at different angles, and Estela was able to snipe her with that quick right hand. Let me say this right now, very, very plainly and easy to understand. Estela Nunes is 10 times faster and more technical than Denise Gomes. So yes, Denise Gomes has power, but she does not have the speed or the straight pipes technical abilities as Yazmin. When you watch her strike, when she was chasing down Bruna, and I knew that she was going to smoke Bruna. I mean, she was my lock of the week, and it was a great call because Bruna is awful. I mean, she was hands low. I mean, defense by just putting her chin back, and eventually she got caught. But Denise, when she's throwing those strikes, is looping, chin out, boom, boom, boom. That's how she throws power shots. And against a girl as technical and as fast as Yazmin, in those pocket shots where Yazmin excels. As soon as Yazmin closed the distance on Nunes, she got to her, she got the power, the speed, and knocked her out. The same thing's going to happen here. Denise is going to try and close that distance with the big shots. Yazmin is comfortable in the pocket and is going to beat her up. Yazmin, honestly, is one of my most confident picks on this card. I mean, her in and out footwork, speed, mixed with the power is going to be way too much for Denise Gomes. I mean, she's just not fast enough. This is not Estela Nunes. And Estela Nunes is very, very good.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be distracted. The pick doctor, the guy who developed our AI, texted me just now this week's picks. No, he texted me this week's picks. And the text said, much more reasonable this week. So these picks are a lot better. And I was trying to see, it did pick a couple of underdogs. And so far, this AI is phenomenal at picking underdogs. I was seeing like, oh shit, is Denise one of them? It is not. I see one. He said, I'm trying to see who else is an underdog here that I picked. But all right, well, this will be up on the website for premium members when we're done here. I hear you. I think we agree. I'm not as agreed as you are, but we agree, and we definitely think that this is under
Denise
2.5.
is tough. I have no.
Yes.
I mean, she is tough. She's gonna be way behind in the striking in this fight, and maybe she finds something because she does throw those big shots, but. She's fast, man. She's good. And I even picked against her. Like her UFC debut, I was like, I think she's a fake, a fraud. She's a real deal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I like the under 2.5 here. Under 2.5 on women's fights usually never makes sense, but I like.
And I got all three women's fights right last week. That's my high point. All three of them.
Congratulations on all of your success. $9,300 in DraftKings. You gonna spend it? A lot of people think she wins by finish.
Did you say 96? Because 93.
93. I did not say 96. I said 93.
I think she's going to get a finish. I think it's going to be a second or possibly a third round. KO.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to spend the 93 on her because there's a couple of other big time heavy price points here that I do like. So we'll see what happens there. But if you want to check out our DraftKings optimizer, the DraftKings player rankings, or even the AI's picks for this week, it is in beta. Do not blindly tail the AI, but you can use it as a tool to see if it aligns with your thoughts, or maybe it picked that giant upset last week with Elves Brenner. Maybe you see it and you're like, all right, let me avoid that
freak.
fight.
Have you ever seen anyone get knocked out getting punched in the neck?
I didn't watch the end of that fight. I watched the first half, and I'm like, all right, I should be good here.
He got punched right there, and he just went. It was like the Shane Burgos. Remember Shane Burgos when he was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was like that. He just went down. Then he was telling the ref like his fingers were numb. Like he was like, oh shit, my finger. It was. I've never seen him just right on the neck.
I watched that fight. I watched the first 2 rounds or whatever it was, and then we had to go to a barbecue where I pissed in this guy's pool for 7 hours straight, just pissed in that pool nonstop. And anyway, while I was peeing in this guy's pool,
is that supposed to make you cool or something? You're a tough guy now.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
He did nothing about it.
I didn't know if it was supposed to be funny or if it was like I'm a tough guy. Like an alpha move. Then you got out of the pool. You pissed on his wife.
I looked him right in the eyes. I pissed in that pool. Nobody said a word. They're not. What are they going to say to me? You know
That's mine now.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I got a text. I'm thinking, all right, safety parlay's done. We're good. This was the one. We're good. And then I get a text from the pick doctor, just says LOL, and I said, what happened? He's like, you didn't see? I was like, no.
Oh, he's pumping his chest.
Yeah, and then a long fall from grace.
And then my fucking dog beat the AI. So just like I fucking said it would.
Long fall from grace. Anyway, premium membership's only $10 a month. We do have a $2 super chat from the Mercinator. Yazmin Jauregui is how it's pronounced. Thank you very much. It's not how I would have said it. Appreciate it. Let's move on. Next up, at UFC 290, we have the just announced, I think that was announced this morning, or maybe while we were sleeping, Jack Della Maddalena taking on Josiah Harrell. Jack Della Maddalena, 14-2 overall. Lost Sean Brady as original opponent. Everybody on the internet was pretending that they would fight him. What's his name? Joaquin Buckley was going wild. Oh, I'm heading to Vegas. And then that obviously never happened. And then he was tweeting after, oh, if they offer me more money. It's like, dude.
Wait,
why would they offer you? Joaquin Buckley was pretending that he was going to fight Jack Della Maddalena.
Well, do you know that? Sorry, go ahead.
And then when he didn't, when it was announced that it was this guy, he was tweeting, oh, they didn't offer me enough money. And it's like, yeah, why would they offer you a ton of money when they could just give Josiah 10-10 and Jack Della stays in the card?
Yeah, Chris Curtis actually said that he accepted the fight. Jack Della Maddalena accepted the fight. They both accepted to fight each other. He was going to fight, and the UFC said no.
I imagine Chris Curtis is still... I mean, how long ago did he fight? It's not that long ago.
The UFC didn't like the matchup. It wasn't the commission or anything. It's just the UFC didn't like the matchup.
I think what's his name accepted it too. Long, skinny, funny guy. Everybody out wrestles him. I always forget his name. Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland said he accepted it too. Anyway, Josiah is the one who's stepping up. Short notice UFC debut. He's undefeated. He's 7-0. Obviously, he's 5-0 in his last 5. And he is stepping up on short notice. And this is a very, very tall task. Jack Maddalena opened at -800. He's now -1100. He's going to get even wider. I wouldn't be surprised if his odds passed Bo Nickel's odds. Because, yes, Josiah is actually a decent fighter, right? He is stepping up on less than a week's notice here, but he's decent. He's a little small. He's probably a lightweight more than a welterweight, but he does bounce around.
Featherweight.
He bounces around. He's competed. You're going to watch grappling matches of him online at 200 pounds. So he does sort of compete everywhere, but he is a grappler. He's a very good high school wrestler. I couldn't find anything of him wrestling in college, but I did find a whole bunch of stuff of his accomplishments in Ohio. Good wrestling state for high school. He's got solid takedowns. He's pretty athletic. His viral video is just shooting a double right through that LFA cage, just literally right through the cage door. Decent striker as well. He's got some powerful hands, and he's just going to set up big, heavy shots and then look to wrestle. Doesn't wrestle as much as you'd like him to. If he wrestled a whole lot more, maybe I'd be, a little confident, but those takedowns aren't there as often as you would like to see out of a guy who has a wrestling background. He's taking on Jack Della Maddalena. We know who he is. Really high volume striker, phenomenal jab, pretty good takedown defense, a nose that looks left even though he's looking right. And he's a solid guy. I mean, Jack Della Maddalena, I was all over him. I have a parlay. You're going to see it for premium with him in it. But that was with him in it versus Sean Brady. So I liked him there too. But in this matchup, he's pretty much a guarantee, but -1100. Kind of tough odds. Here's a little fun fact for you. If you parlayed only Jack Della Maddalena and Bo Nickel, you would have to spend $592 to win 100. It's just not worth it. Now, it is funny because if you just have unlimited money and you have a sports book that's not going to cap you, throw $1 million on it. That's going to hit. That parlay will hit.
That's how you get free rooms in Vegas.
I mean, the parlay will hit, but a sports book's just not going to take that kind of juice.
Wow, you just told your financial advice is for somebody to put $1 million on a...
If you got it, do it. You will get it back.
If you got it, flaunt it. I want it.
Go ahead. What do you think?
Oh, it's pouring now.
I hear yours, yeah.
It's fucking pouring now. Holy shit.
It's nice out here.
Hold on a second.
What are you doing?
Well, you can't be too careful.
That's just on the floor.
Yeah.
Here's the, we just got a severe storm warning. So that just
it's fucking pouring.
All right, well, go ahead.
Yeah, I think for Josiah to win this fight, he's going to need takedowns and control for 15 minutes, and I think that's a tall task, especially with his wrestling. I think a lot of the takedowns that he gets where he really excels is when he's timing takedowns off of big shots, right? When somebody is overextending, they're throwing their power shot, they telegraph their shot a little bit too much. He is very good at dropping levels, getting that blast double, getting people to the ground. And if that were to happen, there is an outside chance that he can kind of steal 2 rounds with the grappling. But the issue is, Jack Della Maddalena is not one of those guys that overextends. He's not one of those big power punching guys. He will just work that jab, boom, 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 jab, jab, and then right hand, then jab, 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 and then run the 2. And then once he has you hurt, that's when he'll start really working those combinations. So without that over-aggression, without that overextending, be able to time those takedowns, I just don't see a world where Josiah is working, kind of grinding against the fence, single leg takedowns, dragging him down, all that type of stuff versus somebody as big and as a veteran savvy as a guy like Jack Della Maddalena. So I agree. I think this is a pretty obvious Jack Della Maddalena play. And I don't know. I'm scared right now. I'll be honest with you, a little scared.
It's funny. I checked the severe weather.
I'm in the penthouse, so you can probably see the whole thing's fucking moving. 150 stories up.
I checked the severe thunderstorm warning. It's for Frisco, but not Prosper, so you're fucked. I'll be fine. We're both on the same side. Super obvious here. Maybe when the props fully drop, there'll be a Jack Della Maddalena inside the distance prop. But even that might be a trap because we just don't. Josiah might be tough as shit. We don't know. We just don't know. So, I don't know what money there is to be made. If you just have a ton of money and you want to lay it all in one fight to win a little bit, here you go. It's pretty much a guarantee. Oh, yeah, Tiffany just sent me a picture of it. That's so funny. Anyway, I will bet that he's going to be $9,700 in DraftKings. He's a massive favorite. Bo Nickel's 98, so I think he's going to be $9,700 in DraftKings. And Tatsuro's 96. So that's the problem. You can only get 2 of those people, and then you got to go the rest of the card. But
not if you know someone.
What we do for premium members is we rank every single fighter by salary. We give you our fades. We give you who should be in your lineup. And we do all of that by your contest type. If you're just doing cash games with your buddies, we tell you who you should throw in there. If you're doing giant, big PPP tournaments, we tell you who should be in there as well. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. You're going to unlock everything you have ever needed. Dude, can somebody tine out this whiny little bitch boy? Have you seen somebody whine and cry this much in your entire life?
You guys are talking to the chat. You guys are answering any of the chat questions. Dude, I'm trying to ask you a question.
We have 3...
What's the point of being live if you're not going to... It's just a fucking question.
All right. We have 350 people in here live, lighting up. This chat is flying. We're live. We're doing this whole thing. The dude's spamming random questions and throwing a temper tantrum. They don't get answered. Chill, man. We have more
just go
views.
Fuck off.
There's another.
That's not what this is about. We're trying to break down the fights and just happen to have a live chat.
Probably a nice guy.
You stupid fuck.
He's probably relax. He's probably a nice guy, but she's a loosh. It's crazy. But yeah, let's go ahead and break down this next fight. Holy crap. Because he said it like 6 times. It wasn't even just once. And he's not even asking easy questions. He's not even asking a question like, hey, do you think Robbie will get the takedowns? He's asking like complex questions that need like 3-minute answers. Why don't you answer the live chat?
Tanner,
Jesus Christ.
tell your girlfriend to DM me. She deserves better.
Why are you assuming he has a girlfriend? He's here on a Monday night watching this. No offense to the 350 other people also here right now. But Jacob's here. He has no girlfriend.
I'm scared.
Next up, I hear it slamming into those cheap windows.
It's hail.
That's how you know your windows are very cheap.
It's on this nice tin roof. You don't have a tin roof?
Next up, at UFC 290, we have what could potentially be fight of the night. We have Robbie Lawler taking on Nico Price. These guys are basically the exact same fighter, except one's 40 and accomplished everything, and the other one's mid-30s and still trying to figure stuff out. But Robbie Lawler, 29-16 in his career. He is 1-4 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout loss to Brian Barberena, which was a bit upsetting. He's taking on Nico Price. Nico Price, 15-6 overall, 1-3-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that TKO loss to Philip Rowe. Listen, this is potentially fight of the night. I also think this is going to be Robbie Lawler's retirement fight. Win or lose. I don't imagine he's going to have too many more of these in him.
They literally have announced that it is his last fight, so that's a great call,
Thank
Angelo.
you so
there.
much.
Dana was literally has like a, this is the last Robbie Lawler fight, and all week on Twitter they're like, I can't believe this is the last time we're watching.
Oh, well,
great call.
My bad. I called the Amanda Nunes one, so anyway.
And those are Amanda's eggs inside of Nina. So there's a good chance that baby's going to look like her.
Let's hope. Robbie Lawler, former UFC welterweight champion of the world. Some of the newer fans that showed up during COVID may not realize that, but he was the welterweight champion of the world, and he did that later in life as well. This dude showed up into the UFC 20 years ago. He was just a kid knocking people out, doing his thing, learning at the highest level possible, bounced around between organizations, came back, hit a run like right when it was perfect. The stars aligned. USADA showed up. Johnny Hendricks, a few of these other greats, just USADA showed up. It changed the game, but clean Robbie Lawler came in here, took over, knocking people out. Everything, the stars aligned for him. He became the champ, defended his belt a few times, really cemented himself as a great fighter that, we should all be very happy that we got to watch him fight. So anybody that showed up during COVID, which there's a ton of you, right? That's when the sport really blew up. It was the only sport on TV. May not realize how accomplished he is. You're going to see an older guy that may be chinny in this fight, but he's got very good wrestling, incredible hands. And why we love Robbie Lawler is it doesn't matter how technical he is, doesn't matter what his skill sets are. He will just end up every time just biting down his mouthpiece, swinging away, trying to put on a show, trying to people get out of there. Nico Price, 15-6. He also has a good amount of experience for a young-ish. He's not super young. He's not old, whatever. Young-ish type guy. He's just like Robbie Lawler. He's going to come in here. He's going to bite down. He's going to look to have fun. He's smiling the entire time. He's like just California living out there. Always smiling, never upset, just trying to have a good time. You get what I'm saying, though.
But he lives in Florida.
I know. I rolled with him in Cape Coral.
Oh, my God. How'd it go? Tell us the inside information.
At this point, I don't remember. It's been like 10 years. Anyway.
Well, that means Angelo got fucking wrecked.
He was like 19 at the time or something stupid like that.
Are you
anyway.
sure he was
legal? So anyway, he has a ton of knockouts. He has multiple knockouts off his back, and that's going to be a highlight literally forever on all the reels. But, Nico Price is a ton of fun to watch. He can be a little bit chinny. He can wrestle. He's got grappling as well. Grappling was actually his background before he started swinging wild in these fights. The odds are surprising to me. I get it. Robbie Lawler's older. Maybe his chin is going. Brian Barberena's not the guy that should be knocking you out. But he's proven he can do anything to anybody on any day. Nico Price is also a bit chinny. So
this guy just beat Nick Diaz
2 fights ago.
I know, but I mean, Nick Diaz is a legend.
So I am going to pick Nico Price here, but these odds, it should be minus 110, minus 105, plus 100, something like that. I think these odds are super wide Nico Price is chinny. And Robbie Lawler hits like a freight train. So anyway, Nico Price should get this done just with youth, frankly. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Nico Price gets this done by making it a complete mixed martial art fight, right? He's got to blast those kicks in there. He's got to keep the range. He's got to mix into takedowns, some wrestling. Because if you just stand and box with Robbie Lawler, even at this age, I agree, that turns it into a 50-50 fight. Because Robbie Lawler in that fight versus Brian Barberena, I know that people remember that as kind of the finish of the fight, right? Where he's just getting overwhelmed and he looks old and he's getting beat up and he gets TKO'd and it's just not a good situation. And that is what happened in that fight. But it started happening from the pressure, which is what Nico needs in this fight. Because earlier on in that fight, when Brian Barberena had his back against the fence and he was just kind of boxing Robbie Lawler, especially early in that second round when Robbie started really working that jab was still fast. That jab still had some pop on it, and he was beating up Brian Barberena with that jab until Brian Barberena just kind of just made it dirty, made it ugly, got in his face, was kind of pushing him around, and that's what Nico needs to do. But if Nico starts just boxing this guy, and he's having fun in there, because we've seen Nico just kind of, as you mentioned, just has fun in there, his back against the fence, just starts boxing Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler does still have some pop. I mean, they say the last thing to go is your power. He's still going to have some pop in his hands. And if Nico's up against the fence, Robbie could land that shot. I 100% agree. But Nico, it seems in this kind of resurgence of his career that he's taking a little bit more serious. He's talked about he stopped smoking weed and all that stuff, and he wants to be an actual guy. I was the fun guy, but now I want to be that winner guy. And he kind of missed out on that Phil Rowe fight, but he came back from adversity. He was losing those first 2 rounds, almost had Phil Rowe out of that fight in the 3rd round. He just needs to bring that urgency, that pace, that pressure, the complete game early in this fight, overwhelm Robbie early, and just kind of get him out of there and make him look like the old man he looked like. But if you just start boxing Robbie, he still got it, man. He can still just stand in there and just box if you want to box him. But I feel pretty confident in Nico that he's gonna be able to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, he should be able to. Literally, youth. Youth is the only. That's it. That's the reason why. So,
well, kicks, wrestling, grappling.
Youth. Okay. Old men can't get their legs up there like that. I struggle. Anyway,
well,
I think
I would beg to differ.
Somebody said Robbie Lawler looks like a porn actor, and it's actually pretty funny because as soon as they said that, I looked over. I was like, "Oh shit!" That is.
Would it be Nico Price? Looks like he's got the porn stash.
Yeah, but that hasn't been a thing since the 70s. Come on.
You think he's what's his name? Who's the bald guy?
I don't know their names.
You almost said somebody rewatched that tape back. You almost said his name, and then you're like, "Oh, that's good. I'm gonna."
I literally have no idea.
You went
no.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
At first, I thought you were talking about Nico Price, and I was going to say Ron Jeremy. But then you said Robbie, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, we're both on the same side of this fight. You're
Johnny
a little
Sins.
like other things in your life.
You're a true patriot. Happy 4th of July for sure. That is
You're
Mr. America.
You're a little farther on the spectrum than I am with this pick. But both of us on the Nico Price side. I mean, look at their recent records. This should just be a fun fight. No reason to spend any money here. I'm just going to watch the fight, enjoy it. $8,900 is a lot of money to spend, and I think this is a trap in that this is the exact type of fight that everybody thinks does not go the distance, under 2.5. But this could just be a fun slugfest, and they're both just smiling at the end, half bloody, and it goes all 3 rounds. So I'm not going to spend any money on this fight whatsoever. Do you agree with that statement that this could be that weird fight that goes all 3 rounds?
No. I think Robbie's in trouble.
Okay. Well, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's only $10 a month. $10 a month. You're going to unlock everything you have ever needed. Period. End of story. Next up, at UFC 290, we have the main
Brother
card
Bo.
opener. We have Bo Nickel taking on Tresean Gore. Bo Nickel, only 4-0 in his career. He's actually finally fighting somebody with an appropriate record for him to fight, but the skill sets are going to be probably a bit of a gap. Bo Nickel, he's undefeated. Every win is by stoppage. If you don't know who he is, he's a phenomenal college wrestler. He's taking on Tresean Gore. He's 4-2 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off his first official UFC win. We don't need to spend a ton of time on this, right? Just very quickly, Bo Nickel is a multiple-time national champion wrestler. He's been wrestling since he was 5 years old. He's been accomplishing things in this country and in many other countries across the world. He has competed at a very high level, but also on big stages. I watched Bo Nickel wrestle at Madison Square Garden. He wrestled
Jordan
Ben
Burroughs.
Askren. No, Ben Askren. No, I watched Jordan Burroughs wrestle Ben Askren, and I watched Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel wrestled somebody else at that same event. Anyway,
that Jordan Burroughs Ben Askren was fucking embarrassing.
He just ran right through him.
It looked like Askren never wrestled a day in his fucking life. It's crazy that they were like. Obviously, I mean, that shows how when you're at the top percent, how different it is even from the close guys to the top 1%. It's great.
It is. I mean, he was an Olympian. And he got smoked. Like, it wasn't even close. But anyway, Bo Nickel has accomplished anything you could ever want to accomplish in wrestling. But he also grappled as well. Didn't he? He grappled Gordon Ryan. And, it was like a little playful
fucking
type.
suplexed his ass.
It was a little playful, but it's not like Bo Nickel went out there and got submitted in 30 seconds. It was I don't want to say competitive, right? I don't want to misrepresent what it was.
He knows positioning.
Exactly. Bo Nickel is not just some clueless wrestler. Obviously, he's got to work on the striking, but he's taking on Tresean Gore. Tresean Gore is heavy-handed, but he's a wrestler. He wants to come forward. He wants to wrestle. That's what he wants to be. That's how he won his regional fights. That's how he won his last fight. And the reality is he can even gun-shy in his feet. He doesn't even let his hands go and throw it all behind. So there's this weird narrative out there that the only reason Bo Nickel took down Jamie Pickett is because he kneed him in the balls. Was there a nut knee? Probably, right? You watch the tape, it probably was there. But if you genuinely think Bo Nickel was struggling with that takedown and wasn't going to get the takedown, that's just an absurd random plot line. And I know everybody wants to be the weird comment
probably
section
one of those
hero.
where both things are true. He got the takedown because of the nut shot, but the odds are he was going to get the takedown regardless.
No matter what. Yeah, and it's like, but people want to use that as like, oh, he looked sus in his last fight. Oh, he's going to get checked in this fight. Tresean Gore's the guy. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Tresean Gore. It's just a horrific style matchup for this guy. Your strength is wrestling. You're fighting the most accomplished wrestler in the UFC right now. Good luck. Good luck. Like, that's just, you're going to take him down. So I know there's a lot of people, they want to be the comment section hero. Oh, I told you so. People say wild shit so that next week, whatever. There's a surprising amount of people saying Tresean Gore is going to get this done. Bo Nickel's not going to be able to take him down. There's this one chick, Dana, whatever the hell her name is. She started down that path, and people jumped at Danielle Brooks. People jumped down her throat in the comment section. She just walked that back so fast. Oh, I think he'll get the takedown.
Wait, who is that?
She's in the comment section. She only comments like when she disagrees, and she was like, Tresean Gore's takedown.
On our comment section?
Yeah. Takedown. Danielle Brooks.
Danielle Brooks? Does she have a profile picture?
No. She goes, Tresean Gore's takedown defense is 81%. Like, implying that matters. It doesn't matter. Bo Nickel's going to win this fight. That is not disrespectful to Tresean Gore. It's just a horrible style matchup. Your strength is his strength, and unfortunately, he's been doing it since he was 2 years old. And there's no starstruck with Bo Nickel. There's no, the moment. He's already competed at a monster pay-per-view. He's competed on international stages. He dominates this fight. I mean, you obviously agree.
Yeah, I do think he dominates the fight, but I think I'm in one of those camps where it's like, I don't know if I've seen enough to trust him with minus 1,400 type odds, like that type of situation. I mean, in my mind, in this fight, he should be the favorite. Obviously, he has just a wild advantage. He's always going to have that advantage against everyone he fights. He's going to have a wild advantage. So he's always probably going to be a favorite in the fight. The person that's going to end up beating Bo Nickel is somebody that's going to be a very fast, dynamic striker that can kind of snipe him on his entries. Somebody that's kind of scared to shoot on a little bit. Obviously, they have to have decent takedown defense as well, but you need some sort of a dynamic striker. And yes, Tresean Gore has power when he does throw, but as you mentioned, he just will just kind of hold on to those shots, and it feels like it's gonna be one of these situations where he's gonna be like, I think I can defend this guy. I trust my wrestling. I think I can defend these takedowns. Let me wait for the takedown, defend it, and then I'll pour on my offense. And by the time he's waiting for a takedown, I mean, you're not going to defend a takedown versus a guy like Bo Nickel. I agree. I am in that camp that, yes, the nut shot led to the takedown. There's no questioning that. It was, and then he was taken down. But we've seen enough where he can get the takedowns. I mean, he's a fucking world-class fucking wrestler. And Tresean Gore is a wrestler as well, and that's probably the worst thing that he can be, as you mentioned, in this matchup. So I'm on the Bo Nickel play, but I don't fully trust him just yet to start laying like crazy money on him and all that stuff. And Tresean's he's a dangerous guy if he lands.
Yeah, he's tough. He's athletic. He hits hard. And that's what I'm saying. None of the breakdown is a slight against him. It's more just. It's just a bad matchup. That's just what's going to happen sometimes, right? So, good for him for even taking this fight. Nobody else would even take the fight. So good for him stepping up. He got his first UFC win, earned it. Everybody counted him out.
And he has kind of, what's actually kind of funny about this is he has kind of humbled himself, right? He was talking before his UFC debut, like, I'm going to be the double champion. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. And he was like the taunting wild guy. You saw him settle down in the, oh my God, my power just flickered. My monitor just went out.
Well, you're still fine,
here?
so
okay.
Keep going. Yeah, you're good.
I can't see anything right now, but literally my monitor is just completely out right now because I think lightning strike. I think it's about to come back on, though. But you saw him start to settle down in that Frem fight. He was a lot more focused, went back to his wrestling. It's come back on now.
Just hurry up, because now we got to get through this because.
Why?
There it is. Oh, ta-da. I don't know.
No, my power didn't go out. It was light. It was like a surge that just.
I know. Thank God you have the battery backup.
Nothing else happened. It was just that one monitor.
Jesus Christ. Let's go.
But I think that conservativism is going to hurt him in this fight. I kind of wish that he was more of the wild guy for this kind of matchup. But
I did a breakdown. I forget what the fight was, but you jumped down my throat because you were trying to be Mr. Funny Turd Burger. But I said something like I said something like, you're going to get taken down. Just accept the fact that you're going to get taken down and let your hands go. Just immediately just like buckle in, like, let's go, dude. And just get ready and just start bombing as he comes in. You will get taken down. You're not going to defend a takedown. So don't worry about the takedown. Just worry about bombing away as soon as he gets near you. And maybe you'll get him to question his entries. That's your best bet.
Oh my God, happened again.
$9,800. I hear the lightning and the thunder.
Every time the lightning hits somewhere, my monitor goes out.
Yeah. $9,800 in DraftKings is absurd, but I think he wins by first round submission, as he has been, so he'll probably end up being worth that price point. So I think you kind of got to do it, which sounds crazy. But then you got Artem saying Danielle Brooks is cool. See my comments. Yeah, I went a little hard there. My point was there's a lot of people like her that are starting to, Trace Gore could get it done. 80, like her whole thing was 81% takedown defense. And also, maybe she's cool on your channel, but 99% of the comments are just, you're wrong, here's why. And I hate that crap. Become a premium member for only $10 a month, and I promise I won't say your name negatively on this channel. Next up, this is why people think you're autistic, Jacob. Next up, at UFC 290, we have Dan Hooker taking on Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner, 13-6 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that close decision loss to Gamrot. He's taking on Dan Hooker, 22-12 in his career. He's 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off a very dominant win, but an incredibly embarrassing loss for Claudio Puelles. So he smoked Claudio. Claudio looked like a bum. You know, it's crazy. I told you that the severe weather alert is for Frisco, not for Prosper, and I hear grumblings in the background, but I don't have it.
That one was close. I mean, that one was instant.
Go get your dog's thunder jacket, wherever the hell it is.
She doesn't give a fuck. We survived. I don't know if you know this. I'm a Hurricane Irma survivor. We just kind of sat in a house and survived that day. She slept through the whole goddamn thing. I remember you left. I remember you evacuated because you're one of those type of people. But
me,
I
my
hung
wife,
tough.
and my baby daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, I hung tough, and then I got a call at 6 in the morning the next day. Can you check on my house?
Not for me.
Can you check on my house?
All right, let's go. Jalen Turner. He's a very good boxer. He somehow manages to march forward and maintain range, and he does that because he's 6'3". He's huge for this weight class. He's one of the few people that does use range effectively, that he does use range well. Even though he is known as a striker, 3 of his last 4 wins are by submission, and there are people that are just going to look at Tapology, assume he's a grappler, see that Dan Hooker's a striker, and be like, well, Dan Hooker's going to beat him. He's a good striker. The reality is, yes, Dan Hooker is a striker. He's a very good striker, actually. He's got a ton of heart. We saw that in that Dustin Poirier fight. He's a rangy kickboxer. He uses his kicks well. He also tries to manage range, but not as well as Jalen Turner does. He's only 2-3 in his last 5, but if you zoom in a little closer, his losses are to Michael Chandler when he debuted. We know who he is and how hard he hits. Islam on short notice, fine, current champion. And then Arnold Allen, but that was at 145 pounds. Since then, he just absolutely smoked Claudio Puelles, but that doesn't, I mean, Dan Hooker looked great in it, but the reality is Claudio Puelles looked horrible in that fight. I got to go Jalen Turner here. I agree with these odds. I just think we've seen Dan Hooker's best days already, and he's a ton of fun to watch. His heart is incredible. Jalen Turner feels like something special. It feels like a Jamal Hill. Right? Obviously, he's at lightweight instead of light heavy, but it's that same style. Pinpoint accuracy, long, rangy, good enough everywhere else. I heard your microphone go.
I know. I told you. That's why I don't know what the fuck. This is it, baby. It's been a wild ride. I just want to say, you know, I love you guys. Imagine,
dude, you getting struck by lightning live on YouTube is the best thing that could ever happen.
Oh my god, that exit wound would feel great.
Oh Jesus. Anyway, I'm all over Jalen Turner here. I think he's literally a little bit better than Dan everywhere, and he's bigger, and he's long. He's going to be faster. He might not be more technical, but his boxing is clean. It's crisp. He has power. That fight with Gamrot, I thought Gamrot was going to smoke Jalen Turner, and he didn't. That was a very close fight. So good for Jalen Turner. I think he gets this done. Very confident in him. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I will say I'm a big Jalen Turner fan. The Tarantula, I've got his autograph back here somewhere, one of his cards. That's one of my favorite cards that I have. By the way, we also opened a Khabib 1 of 10. That's like a $500 card, I think, on the live stream Saturday. So that was a lot of fun. Little fun experience.
Collecting cards sounds fun.
Yeah, a little fun experience. We had fun with it. We kind of guessed on what the next card's going to be and who's going to be the autograph. And, the other autograph I got, actually Saturday I pulled Alex Pereira autograph.
Find out who you think wins this fight.
Alex Pereira autograph. You know who the other one was?
Who?
Joe fucking Selecki, baby. So we were excited about that. I went back and watched the Dan Hooker Nasrat fight because I thought that was the most probably close comparison that we could get to a guy like Jalen Turner. And Dan Hooker looked fantastic in the striking, in the wrestling towards the end of that fight. But he did kind of struggle with the takedowns because that's one I wanted to see the most is how are his takedowns. And he wasn't able to get really the takedowns until he knew that Nasrat was behind, because Dan Hooker's a tough dude, a high IQ guy, more tough. I mean, really, really tough. I don't want to underestimate his toughness here.
That fight with Dustin Poirier is all you ever need to see.
Yeah, and Dustin was kind of a dickhead after that fight too. Anyway. But he was controlling that range. But I wanted to see the takedowns on that fight, and he really didn't get the takedowns clean until he knew that Nasrat was down 2 rounds to nothing because Dan clearly won the first 2 rounds, and Nasrat was overextending. And when Nasrat was overextending, kind of like the Jesus Aguilar comparison, right? When somebody's overextending, you're able to time that takedown. It was very easy for him, right? Nice little double, straight to the ass, and good control as well in the side control type of position. So I do worry at times if Jalen Turner gets a little bit too happy, a little bit too aggressive, because you saw that in the Jamie Mullarkey fight. When Jalen threw a little bit too heavy against Jamie Mullarkey after he had success with the hands and Jamie was beat up, boom, blast double, straight, taken down, and Jamie had control, that same side control that Dan Hooker was using against Nasrat. This is the same thing that Jamie Mullarkey was using against Jalen Turner. And obviously he came back and won that fight, and I'm a big fan of Jalen Turner. But long story short is, Jalen Turner should be able to snipe this guy. Dan Hooker's a very hittable guy. When he throws his combinations, we saw this in tape study too, by the way. Discord's free, premium members, sometimes we do tape study, and this is what we saw as well. He does a very good job of defending with his right hand. So if Jalen's throwing left, he does a good job defending. But when he's throwing Dan Hooker, he does not defend that left hand. He uses his length as his defense, but he tucks the chin behind his shoulder, which usually works because he's usually a taller guy. But Jalen, and you saw Nasrat actually start picking up on that and was landing up and over the shoulder on that left hand, or on Nasrat's right hand. Jalen's going to be much taller, so that angle is going to be not as looping over the shoulder, but just absolutely straight down the pipe, and that's how I think Dan Hooker is going to get in trouble with that Jalen right hand. But I do worry a little bit if Dan Hooker is going to come in and try to time some takedowns, because Jalen, if he's flat on his back, that's not what we want to see. But I'm a big Jalen Turner guy. I think he can knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very confident in Jalen Turner. Obviously, Dan Hooker's insanely tough, veteran savvy. How old is he? 33. He's not even that old. Dude, I hear it. Insanely tough, veteran savvy, all the things, so he could certainly pull this off. Somebody just commented, which was pretty funny. I feel like Hooker's reborn. It said he needed a win. I thought it said he needs. Yeah, I wouldn't look too much into his last win. I mean, yes, he won that fight, and he did everything he was supposed to do, but Claudio Plessis was wiping his own ass.
When I broke down tape, I completely avoided the Islam fight. There's no point in watching. I completely avoided the Puelles fight too. You're not going to learn anything in that fight that'll help you for this fight. There's no point in watching.
Yeah, what you learned is Claudio Plessis is an absolute dork.
He's a fucking L7 weenie.
$8,800 in DraftKings, $7,400 in DraftKings. Pick your side. I actually, while I am very confident in Jalen Turner, and we have seen Dan Hooker stopped before, Michael Chandler, right? One punch. I don't think Jalen Turner is going to finish Dan Hooker. We know how ridiculously tough Dan Hooker is. So I probably won't spend the $8,800. Yeah, the over 1.5. It's a 1.5 round line, right? I love the over 1.5. I think I have that parlayed with something else as well.
I parlayed it as well. I didn't play it straight up. I think as a parlay piece, it's worth. I mean, it's minus 145 right now. I think before it was even like minus 160, so it's even getting more tight for some reason.
Yeah, and I like the under 1.5 in the last fight, in the Bo Nickel fight. So you guys can piece together some parlays if you'd like there. But Dan Hooker's super tough, and Jalen Turner, yes, he's a savage. But he's not one punch knockout guy, right? He's pick you apart, wear you down, beat you up, catch you in something a little And unless Dan Hooker's shooting wild takedowns out of nowhere, he's probably not going to get Jamie Malarkey either. So anyway, WeWantPicks.com, $10 a month. Become a premium member. Jacob, would you like to become a premium member? It's only $10 a month.
No, thanks. Somebody mentioned in the chat the plus 3.5 for Dan Hooker. That was one thing I was maybe looking at for his toughness and maybe getting a takedown and controlling one round. But I just think this is too dangerous of a fight for. Jalen's fucking good, man.
He's very, very good. And if you think it's even that close, then if it's a super close fight, Dan Hooker's probably winning that fight. Look, I think
he can steal it, right? I think it can be like a back and forth striking, and then boom, there's a takedown with a minute to go, and he steals that round type of thing. But even if he steals a round, I think he can still get knocked out. So it's
potentially,
a tough one.
But even Gamrot had a hard time taking him down, holding him down. So
yeah, but I mean, Jamie Malarkey was just boom. I mean, there's just timing. When you're waiting for it, you're going to be hard to be taken down. But when Jalen starts, overextending, they time it pretty well, and he's on his ass.
All right. Well, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member.
He said, see, they do care about their audience.
Yeah.
If you're normal, see what happens? That's amazing.
If you're not
the guy with his name, Dixon Sider, is more of a normal person than you, Tanner. Think about that for a second and reevaluate your whole
Has
fucking
Tanner
life.
not commented since then? He's probably actually a decent person.
No, I think they kicked him or timed him out or something.
Why? Because he just kept doing that? Jesus, that is loud. How are you flinching so fast? But you're doing it from
my monitor goes out. Literally, when the lightning hits somewhere, my monitor goes out every time, and in my headphones, I hear. So it's like, oh, there it is. The fucking sub collapsed.
Next up at UFC 290, we have Robert Whittaker taking on Dricus du Plessis. I can't not say it as annoying as that for some reason. But
Duplessis?
Duplessis. I know it's Duplessis, but I don't know. Anyway, Robert Whittaker, 24-6 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that dominant win over Marvin Vittori. He's taking on Dricus. Everybody loves Dricus, 19-2 overall. This is probably the most.
Does everyone love Dricus though?
Dude, he's one of the most polarizing people. People will just go to war insisting he's phenomenal, insisting he's going to win, or insisting he's an overrated hack. People's opinions on this guy are crazy, especially because
there's different opinions, but there's only one that's right. And
listen, I hear you and I think the same thing, but we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, Dricus du Plessis, 19-2 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off that TKO win over Derek Brunson. Robert Whittaker, you guys should know who he is, even if you're newer to the sport. Former middleweight champion of the world. He's phenomenal everywhere. Great striking, great wrestling, great grappling. He's literally phenomenal absolutely everywhere. His only losses since 2014 are to Israel Adesanya, and that second fight was razor thin. If they gave it to Robert Whittaker, people would have been,
against Izzy? You're talking about the Izzy one?
Yeah, it was razor thin, that second fight.
He won the fight. I thought Robert won the fight.
I'm
biased.
Too,
I'm a Bobby fan, but he won that fight.
No, that second fight was obviously the first fight he got knocked out, but that second fight was super close. So anyway, point being, Robert Whittaker, arguably the best middleweight on the planet right now, or the second best middleweight on the planet right now. And he's taking on Dricus du Plessis. He's streaking. He's a decent striker. He can work in takedowns. He's exciting to watch because he's explosive, phenomenal leg kicks, really good grappler as well. He hunts for submissions, look for stoppages on the ground. His takedown defense definitely needs some work there, but he does continue to get quality wins. This guy just keeps winning, and they're good wins. Derek Brunson is a good win, and yes, Darren Till is like a fat DUI alcoholic who retired, but that was a decent. Yeah, it's a win over a name.
Sorry, Darren. I don't know if this clip's gonna find you, but I'm a big fan.
Is he gonna say I'm not an alcoholic who got a DUI?
I'm a big fan, Darren.
I actually am too. I think he's fantastic.
You're like what Sadiq was with that fucking clown today on Twitter. Everyone's a troll until they're confronted, and then it's like, oh, let's be friends.
No, I could be a fan of Darren Till and call him out for being fat, red faced, and getting DUIs weeks before.
I'm a fan, and I would never say that.
Anyway, dude, that dude that Sadiq Youssef called out was funny. He did that to me once. He tweeted. He's got like 20,000 Twitter followers, which is being famous on Twitter is so stupid. The least.
I almost have 2,000, by the way. I'll put my Twitter actually in the chat right now. Speaking of the devil,
I think Robert Whittaker. Let me finish this, then I'll get back to that. I think Robert Whittaker smokes Dricus. I think this is the reality check that a lot of people need. Robert Whittaker is better than Dricus du Plessis literally everywhere. He's gonna have better wrestling. Maybe power. Maybe power is the one thing that Dricus has. But Robert has a gas tank. Dricus slows down. Robert has phenomenal offensive takedowns. Very good takedown defense. His striking is beautiful. He's in. He's out. He's all over the place. I think Robert Whittaker smokes Dricus. I think minus 410 is. Yeah, it's expensive. I think it's a gift. I just there are levels to this, and these two are not in the same like. I think it's going to be a pretty big reality check for a lot of people. Real quick, Artem, it was that guy Tajik Bey or whatever. He's got like 20,000 Twitter followers. He was trolling Sadiq Youssef for no reason at all. He chose to go to Sadiq Youssef's page
and say your content is shit, basically.
Yeah, for no reason at all. Just chose.
Unprompted.
This is a guy putting out his own original content. Nobody's doing what Sadiq Youssef is doing. He's breaking down fights, but he's doing it like real sarcastically, super funny, whatever. And this guy went out of his way to shit on him for no reason at all. This is the same guy that begs you to donate money to charities. He did that for no reason at all. Sadiq Youssef was like, called him out. Then Sadiq Youssef goes, "Oh, I saw the DMs you sent me. I'd love to come on your podcast." And the guy's like, "Great, let's do it." And then Sadiq's like, "Fuck off, nerd. Nice try." And it was a perfect setup, a perfect execution. But that dude, he didn't do exactly that to me, but he out of nowhere.
Here it is. You want me to read it real quick, straight off the thing?
Yeah, go ahead. Fuck this guy.
This guy says, this bit, and this is him talking to Sadiq, this bit got old pretty quickly. I'm not sure why you're doing it at this point. It's not even funny anymore. Just unprompted, just to be negative for no goddamn reason. And then somebody replied to him and said, instead of talking about tired jokes, you should consider donating to the Red Cross because that's that was a great response.
Sick bird.
And then Sadiq says, why did he get so triggered? And then this guy again responds, not triggered, bro. It's just not funny anymore. That's it. Sadiq responds, laughing emoji. I just saw your message now, bro. I'll do the podcast. Let's be friends. So then he turns around and it's like, fine. Did I really have to write this post to get your attention with like a funny laughing face? And then Sadiq screenshot all this and said, it never fails. Every hater/troll just wants a hug and attention. Ask me if I'm really going to do his podcast.
It was awesome. It was a perfect 1-2. It was perfect. But what's funny, this dude, this Tajik guy, he tweeted a picture of our thumbnail, our full card thumbnail, where I'm just like this, like whatever. It's a clickbaity YouTube thumbnail. And he's like, is anybody even he made some shitty comment. Again, for no reason. I'm living my life over here doing my thing. I didn't know this guy existed. People were sending this to me. So I commented in that. And I don't even remember what the back and forth was. And then I'm getting DMs. Let's do a podcast together. Let's do the show together. I offered it to him because I'm like, fuck, the guy's got 20,000 Twitter followers. I've got 2. You're the fucking idiot. So, and then he's like, yeah, let's give the people what they want. It's like, dude, fuck off. Like, you're the dude
he was probably
who out of
you
nowhere.
In. You think you're the man here. He was probably baiting you in.
No,
like, let's do it, man. Like laughing, like this small guy.
I wasn't setting him up. I was like, you're the one with 20,000 Twitter followers.
I know, he was setting you up. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. Just like Sadiq was like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, well, then I was like,
on yourself, I think.
We're done here. Anyway, tell us why you think Robert Whittaker wins.
Yeah, the big narrative of the entire everything is DDP got his nose fixed, so now he's not going to get tired anymore. He's going to absolutely dominate this fight because the only reason he's been losing this fight or these fights or struggling in these fights is because he's getting tired or whatever. You got to fix the technique. I don't give a fuck about him getting tired. Even early in the fight, he is the worst technique. I have no idea. The biggest question mark in my entire world is not whether the moon landing, this or that, or this conspiracy or whatever. It is how the fuck is this guy 19-2 in fighting a former world champion Robert Whittaker at the 185 division with his skill set? I still have no idea. And if you guys are thinking about picking DDP, I would urge you to go watch the Derek Brunson fight. Let me know how that first round was going for DDP. Go watch the Darren Till fight. Watch him almost losing to Darren Till, who I think is one of the best strikers in the UFC, but that's for another day. Watch him in that Brad Tavares fight, try to get a takedown and just fall straight backwards with Brad Tavares on top of him. Watch these fights. Watch this fighter. This guy isn't fucking close to Bobby Knuckles. Not even fucking close to this skill set. Yes, he's going to be a dangerous guy with the way he fights because he does put himself out there. And I do respect him for that. And he is a tough guy.
Oh,
but
and he's so fun. He's entertaining. All the
behind needing to beat a guy like Robert Whittaker just is not there. Robert Whittaker's just so comfortable. And the biggest difference is he manages range so well. So those blitzes aren't going to be boxing range, blitz in, pop, pop, pop. It's going to be blitzing in, and Robert's going to look at the camera like The Office and be like, look at this guy coming here. And then whap, and just laying that fucking right hand right down the pipe. He's going to see all this shit coming. DDP's not going to be able to take down Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker is going to single-handedly stop this hype train, and we can be done with DDP. With that said, I think I'm going to be rooting for him because I do like chaos. I do like the story. I'm a big Robert Whittaker fan. Bobby Knuckles, nobody pumps him more than me. But for the division and for that potential matchup with Izzy, just the storylines and everything, it would be fun if he won.
Oh, we need him to win. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to see Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis 7?
You mean Izzy?
Yeah, sorry. 7, like we need Dricus to win for the division.
Didn't Izzy say I'm not fighting Robert Whittaker again? I think he already said like the trilogy's done, I'm not fighting him again.
Yeah, just like because he barely won a decision and then he beats Pajeda. He's like, oh, we're done. I put it to bed. I'm 1-4. I put it to bed.
I can't remember.
Absolute joke. I don't know if he said he's never fighting him again, but he definitely said like if Dricus wins, I'll fight him. If not, and then he said somebody else.
Who would it be? Darren Till probably. He's always said he wanted to fight Darren Till.
I do hate that Darren Till left. I wish he would have gotten himself under control, like fix his cardio, all this stuff. That whole Hazmat thing was awesome, but then he just was out of shape, like didn't do anything with it. On Twitter, he was amazing. He's not even funny on Twitter anymore. What's he doing? What happened to this
I think
guy?
he's and not to be like to make like fun of the situation or whatever, but I think he's got a lot of like I think mentally is his biggest I think mentally it's his biggest issue.
He's actually said that before, but
anyway. He's a fun dude. If he was a fun
perfect.
top guy he is like what the UFC wants in a character and a person, the way he interacts with people and other fighters and stuff. But yeah, it is a shame. He literally was one of my favorite fighters. So it's
his plot line with Mike Perry was awesome too for a little while. Listen, I
was Spa. Oh, I thought you said Spa.
Anyway, Robert Whittaker, $9,100 in DraftKings. I'm all on it. I imagine there's actually a lot of wrestling in this. I think Robert Whittaker's going to take him down whenever he wants. We just saw Derek Brunson do it. Obviously, Derek Brunson's a non-stop wrestler, but
I think Robbie will do. I think what he'll do with the Vittori stuff, just see how he's doing with the feet. If not, he'll shoot a takedown and kind of mix it up. I agree. He can do whatever he wants in this fight.
Yeah. But while it may have sounded disrespectful to Dricus, I think the way you worded it was perfect. With it's just skill for skill. They are just not on the same level.
Yeah, and I want to stress
excitement for excitement. DDP's a ton of fun.
Right.
He's probably going to lose this fight, but I hope he continues to win. I don't want him to fall
throw
off
in the
and
towel.
Disappears.
That doesn't happen very often. He beat the fuck out of Derek Brunson enough. The corner threw in the towel. Was like, get my fucking fighter out of there. Even when the round ended, they're like, yeah, we've seen enough. So he's a tough dude. And I want to stress too that he does possess power. He is a dangerous guy. So if he does do that blitz in and knock out Robert, it's like, okay, that's what he's kind of been doing, but it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. WeWantPicks.com, $10 a month. Become a premium member. You're going to get everything. Everything you could ever imagine for that $10 a month. It's insane. Next up, at UFC 290, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have the Flyweight Championship on the line. Brandon Moreno defending it officially for the first time. He's 21-6 overall, 3-1-1 in his last 5, coming off the finish win over Figueiredo. He's taking on Alexandre Pantoja, 25-5, 4-1 in his last 5. He's riding a 3-fight win streak, and he has earned this title shot. And there's also a little bit of history here. Alexandre Pantoja has beat Brandon Moreno twice. He beat him twice. It's not, I get the odds. I'm going to break down this fight, but a lot of people are just forgetting that this fight has happened 2 other times, and it did not go the way that everybody thinks it's going to go. Brandon Moreno, he is defending this belt. It is the first time, but this guy's been in title fights nonstop for the last couple of years. He's insanely tough. He's got a great chin, has a really nice pace. He averages almost 2 takedowns per fight. He mixes things up well. And it's his pace, it's his pressure, it's his will to win that really sets him apart from most. He's going to continue to come forward and stay busy no matter what is happening. He put away Deiveson Figueiredo in his last fight and just closed that out. That was the first quadrilogy we have ever seen. This actually might be the second quadrilogy. Alexandre Pantoja could beat Brandon Moreno here, and then we can get a fourth fight out of him. That'd be incredible. Oh, that would be incredible. Anyway, he's taking on Alexandre Pantoja. This guy has earned this title shot. He's a fun fighter. He loves walking forward, going to work. Really nice power. He does a lot of damage, and he can grapple as well. He actually submitted Brandon Moreno in one of those wins. His striking is actually very fundamentally sound. It's a lot of 1-2s. It's super clean. He doesn't take a ton of risks. You're not going to see him spinning, but he's going to come forward, plot forward, do all the right things, and try to make it happen with his power, his pressure. And he can do some really solid damage there. He's very, very durable. And the only time we've really seen him get beat, like one-sided beat, are people who can take him down and control him. This is a great fight. It's a well-earned title shot for Pantoja. I think Brandon Moreno is going to win. I think this fight should be a little closer, not because of the history, because I keep mentioning Pantoja beat him twice. That's so long ago. Brandon Moreno is not the same fighter. Brandon Moreno is not even the same fighter today as he was in the second Figueiredo fight.
Yeah, his improvements have been wild.
It's been absolutely incredible. It's been absolutely incredible.
He's only 29 too, I think. Right? 29?
Really? Holy shit, yeah.
That's crazy, yeah.
So I think Brandon Moreno is going to win this fight. I think he can work in the takedowns if he needs to. I think his toughness is just next level insane. But I do think he needs to keep it dirty. If he tries to fight a clean fight, Pantoja's going to light him up. Because Pantoja's the more technical striker on the feet. I think Brandon Moreno needs to work in takedowns, stay in his face, keep it dirty, grind, and go from there. But I do think Brandon Moreno is going to win this fight. I don't know how you could disagree with that statement. But go ahead.
I think that's one of the craziest things you've ever said.
I think Brandon Moreno is the more technical striker.
I don't think Pantoja is a very good striker at all. I think he comes in, he blitzes in with power, but he wants to just kind of blitz in to get his bread and butter is take you down, get your back. That's what he wants to do, and he has striking to get to those positions. But if you're just going to stand and strike as a kickboxing match, I'll take Brandon Moreno 10 out of 10 times versus Pantoja. He's going to have the power advantage. He's going to throw wild. He's got the wild shots, but Brandon Moreno is just so technical as a boxer, so sound defensively, good counters, and he seems to get better as the fights go on. So, and that's kind of how I saw this fight. So when I went down and I was breaking down this fight, and let me first say that I believe that this co-main and main event combination is going to be the best entertainment value main combination in the entire year. I think both these fights are going to be absolutely fantastic. They're going to bring the noise, bring the power, bring down the house. Angel's going to be rocking, but I thought going into this fight, I'm going to pick Pantoja, right? In my mind, I'm picking Pantoja. Let me start watching film and let me find reasons to pick Pantoja to just kind of verify my thoughts. And I came out of breaking down film not only picking Moreno, but betting on Moreno as well, because Pantoja to me is a 2-round guy, and he's all submissions. He wants to get on your back. He wants to submit you. And on the feet, he's just a little bit too wild for me for a guy like Brandon Moreno. And I don't see a situation where Pantoja comes in, gets a takedown, gets the back, and submits Brandon Moreno at this level. Because that's one of the things that Brandon Moreno has improved on the absolute most is his wrestling, his defensive grappling, but also his offensive wrestling. He can easily sweep even a guy like Pantoja. Even if he gets taken down, he can sweep him, end up on top. And Brandon Moreno is very good at keeping top control and staying safe. Even when Figgy had him in a couple guillotine situations, didn't panic, got out of the situation, kept control, and I like that in those abilities against a guy like Pantoja. So I think Pantoja is going to be somewhat live in the first couple rounds because he is so high level at getting to legs, climbing the back, and weird things can happen when people dry and all that type of stuff. So I hedged my moneyline bet in a way, but I think Brandon Moreno can easily dominate the striking in this matchup, defend the takedowns, defend the kind of the scrambles, and really kind of take over this fight 3rd, 4th, 5th round, and maybe even find a TKO if Pantoja doesn't win this early. But I'm pretty high on Brandon Moreno in this matchup, and that's me thinking I was going to pick Pantoja until I started watching film. I think Brandon Moreno is just head and shoulders way too good on the feet than Pantoja.
Well, he put out Kaikar France, which was a solid win against another high-level striker. But I don't know. I actually like Pantoja's strike. I just like that it's very basics. It's 1-2, 1-2. It's like what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be doing it. No spinning, no crazy, no bullshit. Brandon Moreno can get a little crazy with his striking and can leave himself exposed at times because he is getting crazy. Too much movement. His hands aren't where they're supposed to be.
I see those completely. I see those completely different. Brandon Moreno's always right here. Pop, 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 pop. Hands up. He's always got that nice high guard right here. And Pantoja's blitzing in. Wop, wop, wop. Chin exposed.
Well, we both picked him to win. So I think this fight, as you said, should be a really fun fight. I think it's going to be, it's just going to be nice to see. It's similar to the main event that we're about to break down. It's going to be nice to see Brandon Moreno fight new people. Like, all right, we've seen it.
Really fresh, really fresh fights. Yeah, I'm excited for both these.
Yeah. So we're both on the Moreno
side. Wish I could have went to
80.
Vegas.
Well, there might be a seat behind us if you want one. Actually,
wish I knew that was the kind of the plan.
You know what you can do instead? Why don't you come over tomorrow for a barbecue? Got some sausages, people coming. We got some steaks.
I'm dedicated to the channel. I've got a Lock of the Week video to do.
And you're going to be filming the Lock of the Week video the entire day?
Literally. Actually, the editing on this is probably going to take like 3 or 4 hours. So I'll probably film for 3 hours and edit for 4 or 5 hours on the 4th of July. So I hope everyone's pretty happy about that.
You sent me the...
That's why I was texting somebody over the weekend, and they were like, "Oh, what kind of life is that?" Because I was like, I just stream all day Saturdays. I do my research all day Sundays. What kind of life is that? It's like I'm fucking grinding for a better life. You know what I mean? Got to get out of this situation.
I appreciate it every time, other than when I invite you over and you don't come over to do that shit. That's the only times I'm like, fuck this loser. Anyway, $8,700 in DraftKings. You're going to spend that money. You think he finishes them, but it's 5 rounds. They're busy. That's an affordable price point. You think he works in the takedowns? He's probably worth that 87. You agree?
Pantoja's tough, but I think he could get tired and get TKO'd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. And Brandon Moreno with reversals, right? 5 points for reversals or sweeps and all that type of stuff, and could get takedowns on his own. Brandon's a sneaky good play, sneaky good value, 87 in my mind.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So I agree with that. And this is a tricky DraftKings week because there are such heavy favorites at such high price points and so many fights that should end in stoppage. And there's live underdogs, but you got to make sure you have the right ones because it's going to be a very tricky DraftKings week. So make sure you use all of our DraftKings tools. At WeWantPicks.com, you're going to get the picks, the bets, the AI. You're going to get the DraftKings optimizer. You're going to get everything you could ever need, including data that you can use, you can look at, you can make your own decisions. It's only $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member.
Fight goes to split decision plus 450.
There you
Somebody
go.
said in the chat. There you go.
Next up at UFC 290, we have the main event of the evening. We have Alexander Volkanovski taking on Yair Rodriguez. It's nice to see a fresh face here because Alexander Volkanovski has been the champion for a little over 3 years and he's only fought 3 freaking different people. It's wild. At this weight, he's 25-2, 4-1 in his last 5. That only loss is a very close one to Islam at lightweight. He's taking on Yair Rodriguez.
Do you think he won that fight?
I didn't think he won while watching it, but I had that bet on Islam, which may have completely changed.
Yeah, I obviously thought it was close, but I thought Islam did enough. But
yeah,
there's obviously
takedowns matter. Pretending takedowns don't matter is a weird. Like takedowns matter because people are like we did nothing with it. He's like yeah, but he still did it. Like, getting a takedown means something. You just get no credit for a takedown if you don't murder somebody immediately after? That's crazy to me. Anyway. Yair Rodriguez, 15-3 overall. He's 3-1-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission win over Josh Emmett, which won him the interim title. And Yair Rodriguez is an interesting guy because he's athletic. He's wild. He's going to spin. He's going to kick. He's going to do all sorts of super fun stuff that not only will entertain us, but it also makes it impossible to figure him out and what he's going to do in that cage. He's super tough to deal with because of that unpredictability. It does open him up for takedowns, though. He'll plant a little too hard. He'll spin a little too early, and he can be taken down. But he is capable enough to throw up a submission or even create scrambles off his back. He's been taken down in 9 of his 12 UFC fights, but he does have a 63% takedown defense. He is the interim featherweight champion, but if you dig through his record, there was a good amount of time off between some fights there.
You want to just put a disclaimer out there that you're a fucking Yair hater?
I'm not a Yair hater at all, and I'm not even going to say that Twitter narrative. The new Twitter, well, I am going to say it. The new Twitter narrative is Yair Rodriguez had major cardio issues, took 2 years off, wasn't in USADA testing pool, and now he has cardio. which is like such a stupid narrative. It's like,
That's pretty disrespectful.
yeah, I completely disagree with that at all. That's just
Viva
I saw
Mexico.
that all over. I saw that all over Twitter before. But anyway,
Tango El Gato Los Pantalones.
Yair Rodriguez, as fun, exciting, dangerous as he is fighting the greatest featherweight of all time, mate, right? He's probably better than Jose Aldo at this point. He's accomplished as much. He's on his way to accomplishing more potentially. So if he's not the greatest featherweight of all time, he's the second greatest featherweight of all time. Alexander Volkanovski has been here for years doing what he does. He's a very good, clean striker. He's got legit speed. His hands are fast. His feet are fast. He uses kicks really well. His combinations are clean. He works in takedowns. He's super short, but he can find the head. He can get there. I mean, he's unbelievably well-rounded. He just fought the biggest weight bully at lightweight, and it didn't even matter. Yes, he lost that fight, but he's supposed to lose that fight. That's what's supposed to happen. The champion of the lighter weight class isn't supposed to win the next fight. It's supposed to be a close one, but size was the difference. And that's exactly what happened. But I think Volkanovski wins this fight. I think he's too complete of a fighter. I think all that wrestling he did in that camp for Islam is going to help him. I do think he'll get into some trouble on the feet. I do think Yair Rodriguez will have some success, and I think Volkanovski is going to go to that wrestling that he's been working on for the last year or whatever it was, preparing for that Islam fight. So I like Alex to win this fight. I am like very, very confident in him to get it done. So I'm on the Yair side. What do you think?
You just said I'm on
Sorry,
the Yair
Volkan.
side.
I'm sorry. I'm on the Volkan. I know what side you're on. Which is why
I think that was somebody was trying to help you there. I think somebody was trying to a little Freudian slip. I think you were trying to, your inner conscience was trying to help yourself there. Yeah, I have all the respect in the world for Volkanovski. Obviously, it was super impressive. As nobody, even me, I mean, gave him a chance in that Islam fight. He showed up and nearly won that fight. And some people think he did win that fight. And if you fight Volkanovski as a technical fighter, like a Max Holloway, like a Jose Aldo, obviously it was Max Holloway a few times, but if you just try to just fight him in a kickboxing fight and you're just trying to out technical Volkanovski, not going to happen. You're just not going to out technical a guy like Volkanovski. He's just too well rounded. He just knows where to be. The guy that really had the success against Volkanovski and had him in the most danger, obviously there was a little bit of a weird situation, but it even was landing some weird stuff on him, was Brian Ortega. Because Brian Ortega is not a normal guy. He's not just a 1-2, nice tight striker. He's a dynamic striker, definitely not as dynamic as Yair, but he's a dynamic striker, is dangerous in his guard, in the grappling, can do weird stuff, and he put Volkanovski in obviously some weird situations. Obviously the mounted guillotine, the triangle, but what I saw a lot too was on the feet. He was touching Volkanovski with his different kind of different style. He switches stances, stuff comes to the weird angles. What he did really well was timing the kicks of Volkanovski, either the body kicks or the leg kicks with shots and also grabbing the leg as well. It's kind of how he got that takedown. He kind of grabbed the leg with the right hand, but he was landing really nice right hands and countering off those kicks of Volkanovski, and he was having some good success with kicks, slapping the body, slapping the legs of Volkanovski. And who has really, really, really good kicks? Yair has incredible kicks. The speed of his kicks, I think, are really going to give Volkanovski issues. And I'd say issues. I don't know what the fuck that word was, but
you're a mess
but
today.
But I agree. Volkanovski can default to the wrestling, but again, off his back, Yair is no joke off his back. He is dangerous off his back, not only with just submissions, but you'll see him you cannot just stay in guard against a guy like Yair. He will come with the strikes. He will come with the elbows. He will threaten submissions. So this is going to be, in my mind, a very, very uncomfortable fight for Volkanovski. And in that uncomfortability, that is how you beat him. You can't out-technical him. You have to be wild. You have to take chances. And that's exactly what Yair is. If there's anyone that is going to come in and land that big shot, we've seen Volkanovski get wobbled. We've seen him he's not invincible. He just is very, very tough and can out-technical people. He knows where to be. I believe in my whole heart that Yair is going to come in, give him issues, put him in uncomfortable positions, and Volkanovski is eventually going to make a mistake that's going to cost him in this fight. I'm on the Yair side. I think that he is the perfect guy to beat a guy that's just so technical. You have to get wild to beat those guys. Kind of the same thing against like Izzy. You have to get a little bit wild or have kind of game-changing power like Pereira had. And I think that Yair, this is going to be his moment, man. I think he's going to be new and he's going to shock the world. He's the guy to do it. He's dangerous, man. He's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue. Like, I'm on the other side of the pick, and I'm very far on the other side of the pick. I don't think it's a close fight. But I agree with everything you said. We just came to a different outcome. Like, I agree. Keep it wild. Keep it dirty.
If you watch that
said
Brian
that's what
Ortega
Brandon
fight,
Moreno needs to do too.
And I'm not even talking about. Obviously, you can talk about the Brandon or the Brian Ortega fight and be like, oh, he almost. I don't even care about that. I don't care about the guillotine. I don't care that. I'm looking at the striking, and I'm seeing him land a right hand, and I'm seeing him land a kick, and I know how more dynamic Yair is even than Brian Ortega in that fight. I think Yair is going to surprise some people with how good he is. Well, you said this week that you don't think he's very deserving of this title shot. I think some people think that as well.
I don't think I said he wasn't deserving of the title shot.
You're like, he hasn't beat anyone. He had the 2 years off. He came back and he beat a bum, and Josh Emmett not any good.
That's true. He lost. Okay, I see who the AI picked. Pretty confidently, actually, too. Okay. Anyway, we're on opposite sides here. You're going to get great value at your $7,000. I think you need somebody in this fight. You need somebody in the co-main in your lineup. And maybe that means you have Yair because he's the most affordable of the 4 people in the main and the co-main when you're building your DraftKings lineup, right? $7,000, where Pantoja's a little more than that as the underdog. But pick your side. I'm not going to stand on this. This isn't a hill I'm going to die on. While I'm very, very confident in Alexander Volkanovski myself, we all know how good Yair Rodriguez is, so I'm not going to shit on the guy to pretend he can't win.
You let me know what you think about this. Inside the distance, decision no action for Yair. We know how tough he is. Volkanovski, not really a finisher. It's plus 200 right now. I got it for plus 240 for premium members.
That is surprising because, Volkanovski is not really a finisher. And Yair went to war with Max Holloway.
Yeah, he's a very tough dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting, but I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to be here in person, obviously. I mentioned that a few times. A great card.
Oh, wow. Today I posted a picture. I was watching the Embedded, and in Brandon Moreno's, one of his good friends is Marcelo Rojo, who was like one of my favorite Lock of the Weeks of all time. Didn't win, but one of the OG Lock of the Weeks.
Why did he get cut? Wasn't there like controversy?
No, I think he just kept losing fights.
Oh, for some reason I thought there was like a issue.
No, I screenshot and I said one of my favorite all time Lock of the Weeks. I tagged him and he liked it. Look, there he is. Marcelo Rojo.
Oh, congrats. Here, Dick's Insider's saying, give us one AI underdog. I'll give it to you given how bad.
Well, you just tagged not that comment. So.
Oh, good night. The AI, here you go. The AI picked Dricus. Super close, 52%, but the AI picked Dricus. So there you go. There's one of the underdogs the AI picked. And the AI has been very, very successful picking underdogs.
I mean, I have to get off this and walk the dog, and it is fucking pouring down rain.
Well, how are you going to walk the dog in the rain? All right, let's go. Let's shut this.
She hasn't been out since lunchtime.
Jesus, what kind of asshole are you? All right. You want $50? I'll send you $50. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up using our link with any one of our sportsbook partners, and I'll send you $50 as a thank you. That's WeWantPicks.com/bets. You need to use the link. They're going to pay me. I'm going to break off some money and give it to you, but I don't get paid if you don't use the link. If I don't get paid, you don't get paid. But if I do get paid, we all get paid. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Premium has a new look, a new feel. It has for a little while now, but we've added the AI as an analyst. Pick Doctor is an analyst. We've built out this AI. It is full beta. I am not advocating anybody go in there, and I haven't at all, that you go in there, you tail the bets. But it is using science, math. It's using striking and biometrics right now to make picks. Obviously, it needs a lot more data before we release it from beta. But it has been picking underdogs at a clip. It is batting 1,000 at massive underdogs. It picked Elves Brenner last week, a few big underdogs the week before. So, do your own picks, do your own research, and then see what the AI thinks from there. We'll continue to monitor. We'll continue to log, track, do all those things. And then we have Artem breaking down UFC, but also non-UFC, PFL, Bellator, LFA, all of the other promotions as well. We have tools, the line movement tracker. This week, nobody flipped from an underdog to a favorite. We have 6 fighters
Not
that
yet.
have had 20% movement. Who's going to flip?
I would think Alonzo Menifield might, if people fucking realize what the fuck's going on there.
It almost got there, and then it actually widened. It was right there, and then it went the other way.
The second people actually watch that fight, they're going to be like, hold on, this guy's an underdog? The guy, not the guy that's just stumbling around, just not getting knocked down, just bloodied and beaten. That's the favorite? I don't know. I honestly have no idea how Jimmy Crute's a favorite.
Well, we thought we'll find out Saturday. Listen, we're both on the same side there. You're also going to get detailed data, metrics and analytics, 38 columns of detailed data. Everything I'm mentioning right now is only $10 a month. A month. There's 4 events in a month. You're spending $2.50 an event. We've also added courses. If you're new here and you have DraftKings Fantasy, you don't necessarily know what it is, do the DraftKings Fantasy Beginner Guide. It's going to walk you through all the ridiculous acronyms, the terms, the cool insider vibes, but also how to build a lineup, what it even means, how much money you should be spending, what kind of contest you should be entering, and all of that. Guys, that is the breakdown. Thank you all so very much. We appreciate it. We had 300.
Bruno Fajeda? What are you talking about?
Who said you had Bruno Fajeda?
Funkmaster Flay. Clown Jacob had Bruno Fajeda. What the fuck?
I mean,
where's the boat yet, baby?
Thank you all so much. The views have been absolutely incredible. The support has been absolutely incredible. I will be at UFC 290. If you see me, come say hi. I'll buy you a drink. Genuinely, I just appreciate everything everybody has done for us. If we're doing this for 5 people and nobody watches, well, then we got nothing. We have this because of you. Thank you all very much. Any last words for the peeps?
Please, for the love of God, nobody blow their hand off tomorrow, 4th of July. Have a good 4th of July. Please stay safe, responsible, get your DDs. Let's make sure everyone gets home safe. We can't afford to lose any viewers at this point.
There you go. WeOwnPicks.com. Become a
Happy
member.
birthday, America.
God bless America.